Alright guys, so we are live with some roster predictions and MLB The Show 16 for the roster update for Friday, June, what is today, the 8th? So Friday, June 10th. We're going to do some roster predictions. I've got my handy dandy notebook and I'm going to take everybody through my process. So we're live streaming this on Twitch right now, but I'm going to upload it to YouTube in a little, like when I'm done. And our Twitch name is BoilerBoy14. I'm going to link that in the description, and then there's also going to be a link to my Twitter as well. And you guys can come check us out whenever you want on Twitch. It's a pretty welcoming stream. We like to have a lot of fun. We do some home run derby, we do some battle royale, we play head-to-head, we play against viewers, we do a whole lot of everything. So first things first, we need to get to the roster editor, because that's where I like to do my magic. So let's get in here. Oh, hang on, let me go ahead and load the regular rosters first. So let's save the live roster. For those watching on YouTube, I've got my Twitch stream chat pulled up over here, so I may sometimes respond to people in the chat. And you know, that's just one of the things that's fun about joining in our stream. So let me save this roster real quick. J-Dog, I told you about 20 times this is what we were going to do, man. Okay, so let's load these rosters. Let's load the current roster. Alright, so we've got the roster pulled up. So here's my process. The first thing that I do, everybody wanted to know, how do you come up with these predictions? How do you usually get so many of them right? Things like that. First thing I do is I'm in a fantasy baseball league on Yahoo, and on the free agent list, so the transactions, all that, you can sort stats by the last, excuse me, I'm moving things over. You can sort stats by the last 14 days. So that's what I like to do first. As I go in here to my, you can't see my screen, but I can explain to you what I'm doing. I sort by the last 14 days, and that's how I start it. So the first thing we're going to do is do that. So we're going to start with some starting pitchers. For one reason, I'm better at that. Last week I got almost every starting pitcher right, and I missed like 6 batters. So let's see here. So the first one that it says on this ranking is Jose Fernandez for the last 2 weeks. So I look to see who are the best performers for the last 2 weeks, but then I use Fangraphs to look at their season stats and see if I think they can be upgraded. And I look at their last few games. It's just a really long process. So first one we have is for starting pitchers. Jose Fernandez is the best over the last 2 weeks. So let's see what he's been doing. How has he been performing? So over the last 2 weeks, he has, so for the season he has an for the last 2 weeks, he has an 0.43 ERA, 0.67 WHIP, 32 Ks, and 21 innings. So let's look at the Marlins and look at Jose Fernandez. Okay, so let's see here. He has an 0.67 WHIP, 32 Ks, and 21 innings. So his K per 9 is 88. I don't think that can go up any. It's too high already. If we look at his walks per 9, how many walks does he have recently? He's got an 0.67 WHIP over the last 2 weeks. So let's see here. He did not walk anybody in his last outing. And in the previous outing, he didn't walk anybody in that one either. So I'm going to guess that his walks per 9 probably goes up by, it's at 67 right now. I'm going to say it goes up by about, let's see here. I'm going to say it probably goes up by maybe 8. Let's say his walks per 9 goes up to 75. That moves him to a 95. Okay, so I think Jose Fernandez, let's see here. So if he gets up an 8 upgrade, that moves him to 95. Let's say he only gets like a 5 upgrade and goes to 72. Where's that put him? 94? Okay, so let's check here. What about 73? Still 94. 74. 95. Okay, so I think, how low can it go up and still be a 94? 72, he's still a 94. Or 70, he's still a 94. So if it goes up at all, he goes up 1. Because right now he's a 93. If his walks per 9 goes up even a little bit, he goes up 1. So I'm going to say he probably goes up 1. It's possible that maybe he could go up 2, but I'm going to say he goes up 1 because I think his walks per 9 goes up by, let's call it 5. Plus 5 equals 94. So he was a 93. If his walks per 9 goes up 5, he goes to 94. So he's a +1 for this week. He could be a +2, but I'm going to go with +1. Next on this list is John Lester. What's up, Blue? How are you, man? Next on this list is John Lester. So over the past 2 weeks, he's got 26 Ks in 23 innings. 23 and a third innings, rather. And he has an 0.77 ERA and a 69 whip. So let's check him. So that K per 9 at 70, he averages over a K per inning. This would be for Diamond Dynasty, powerful player. So somebody asked in the chat, this will be for Diamond Dynasty. So on the roster update on Friday, it'll be for everything. This affects their cards too. And it also affects their ratings and play now and everything like that. Okay, so let's see. Over the past 2 weeks, he's got 23 and a third innings pitched, 26 Ks. What about the last 2 or 3 outings? For the year, he's got 78 Ks in 78 and 2/3 innings. But his last 2 outings, he's got 10 Ks in a complete game and 9 Ks in 8 innings. I'm going to say his K per 9 could go up by about, let's see here, he starts at 88. He hasn't seen an upgrade this year, and he's having a great year. I'm going to say his K per 9 probably goes up by maybe 4. And I'm going to bet his home run per 9 probably goes up by 4 also. So let's see what that does for him. So what did I write down? I wrote down K per 9 plus 4. So what was he at? He was at 70. I wrote down K per 9 plus 4. I wrote home run per 9 plus 4. So that moves him to a 90. So I'm going to say John Lester probably gets a +1. On the high side, he gets a +2. So we're going to call that, I'm usually conservative with these, because I overestimate what I think should happen, and then they usually go a little bit below that. So if I think he should get a +2, then I think that means he probably gets an upgrade, but it might only be +1. But that does tell you how easy it is for him to get upgraded. Let's go +2 on Lester. We'll call that a +2. Alright, who is next? Michael Fulmer, he already got an upgrade last week. Zach Davies. Alright, so let's see him. He is a Brewer. So Zach Davies is a 71 overall. Over the last 2 weeks, he's gone 20 and 2/3 innings. What's up, Reynolds? How are you, man? Yes, I agree with my pal Cairo in the Twitch chat. I agree. Lester hasn't gotten an upgrade this week, so he should go up at least 1, maybe 2. Let's look at Zach Davies. Zach Davies has 20 and 2/3 innings over the last 2 weeks with 18 Ks, 174 ERA, 0.68 whip. Okay, so that walks per 9 strikes me immediately. He walked 3 last week, or last outing, and the one before that, he walked none. So in his last 2 outings, he has 3 walks, but his walks per 9 is 52 in this game. I'm going to say that goes way up. Zach Davies is a 71 right now. His walks per 9, I'm going to give that plus, let's go with, his whip is 124 on the year. I'm going to say that goes to 62. Let's move his walks per 9 plus 10 to 62. Okay, his Ks per 9, he struck out 9 a couple games ago, but then only 5 after that, and before that he struck out 4, 5, 6, 1, 3, so he doesn't strike out many batters. Maybe I can bump that up a little bit because he had a 9 strikeout game. Let's bump his K per 9 barely. We'll bump it to 60. K per 9 plus 4. His stamina needs to go up. His last 2 outings are 7 innings and 8 innings. So let's bump his stamina up to, we'll bump his stamina up to 81. Stamina plus 10, walks per 9 plus 10, K per 9 plus 4. Maybe leave his hits per 9 right where he's at. Let's see, his last one he gave up 2 hits in 7 innings. The one before that he gave up, let's see here, 3 hits in 8 innings. So let's bump his hits per 9 to 65. Hits per 9 plus 2. Alright, so where's that put him? So we're going to up his, let's see here, somebody said something in the chat. Hello, Luke. We're doing roster predictions right now, taking everybody through my process. So Zach Davies, we said stamina plus 10 to 81. We said hits per 9 plus 2 to 65. I like even numbers, so that's what I use for these. I know they don't normally do even numbers, but it helps me figure out where to start. K per 9, we're going to do +4 is what we said to 60, and walks per 9, we said +10. Let's see if that's a little too much or no. So that moves Zach Davies to a 75. I think that's pretty reasonable. So we'll put Zach Davies at a +4. Okay, so who do we have lined up next for pitchers? Next, Zach Greinke. Greinke is having a great stretch right now for the last few starts. He's got 20 2/3 innings, 3 wins, 18 Ks, 174 ERA, 068 WHIP. I don't think he's going to go up. I think he could go up in a couple weeks, and I think he could go up even as high as like 94, 95 maybe, because it helps that his fielding is really high. Let's look at Zach Greinke. So one thing you have to keep in mind on these, on roster updates, is that when a player, especially with pitchers, when their fielding is really high, that helps that keeps them up higher. Like, look at his pitching stats. His pitching stats aren't that much better than the Zach Davies card we just looked at, who was a 71, but his fielding's a 92, so that helps, and his stamina's high, so that helps. Like, that's a good example. So you have to remember, that's why I like to go into this player tool, because fielding and clutch and things like that can help bring a guy up, even when his stats aren't very good. What day do they upgrade the rosters? Fridays. Okay, back to this. So we're going to skip Greinke for now. I think he could go as high as mid-diamond in a couple weeks if he keeps this up, because we know he's that talented. But we're going to skip him for now. Let's look at Kyle Hendricks of the Chicago Cubs. Somebody asked if we'd done any big predictions yet. Yes, Jose Fernandez +1, John Lester +2. Kyle Hendricks, let's look at him. So Kyle Hendricks is an 80 right now. I think he got a roster upgrade recently. Let me pull up Daddy Leagues and find out. One second. daddyleagues.com/DD/16/players. Let's look at Kyle Hendricks. I think he already got one, so we might want to skip over him just like we did Michael Fulmer. Hendricks. Alright, so Kyle Hendricks. Maybe not. I don't think he has gotten one. It doesn't say he's got any trend up or anything like that, which I'm not sure if that's inside edge or not. Let's look at the last couple weeks, see if Kyle Hendricks has gotten an upgrade. Okay. So around the 80s. He didn't get one last week. Did he get one the week before? Because what is he? He's 80 or is he 79? I think he's 80. Okay, so he didn't get one last week. Did he get one the week before? Okay, so Kyle Hendricks hasn't seen an upgrade all year, so I think he's got to go somewhere. So let's see at his. For the last 2 weeks, he's got 19 Ks in 22 innings, and he is where? He's got 19 Ks in 22 innings. For the year, he has 57 Ks in 68 innings. I think that K per 9 probably stays the same, to be honest. His walks per 9 is good already. His hits per 9 is pretty solid. His last start wasn't really that good either. I think this is one of those cases where I look at, this happens sometimes, where I look at a guy and I say, you know what, he deserves an upgrade, but I look at his attributes and I don't see anywhere that he can get one. So Kyle Hendricks is going to be, I make an extra list when I'm done where I say possible but unlikely, and those are guys who deserve an upgrade, but I couldn't find anywhere where I thought they would get one. Last week, and those guys still sometimes get upgrades. Last week, that list was Syndergaard, Kershaw, Cueto, and Desmond, and Cueto and Desmond both got upgrades. So Kyle Hendricks for now, we're going to go with no change. Marco Estrada, this one I know for sure, I think is positive is going to get an upgrade. So let's look at Marco Estrada. This is a Blue Jay. See if I can find somewhere to upgrade him. He was one that I had last week, I think. He was one of the few that I missed. So Estrada last week, the only upgrade I thought he would get was stamina +5. Let's look at him now. He's an 81. He's got to go somewhere. His stamina is 73, which is absurd. His last 2 outings are 8 innings. So that's kind of ridiculous. He's actually on my fantasy team too, so I've been monitoring him. So his stamina is 73, and his last 2 outings are both 8 innings. So we're going to give him a big stamina boost. Estrada, we're going to go stamina plus, I'm going to say 12. I'm going to put him up to an 85 for stamina, because he deserves it. Alright, he's already got great walks per 9. That's not going anywhere. he could walk nobody ever, and he would have, and that walks per 9 probably wouldn't go up. What are his Ks? 63 Ks and 74 and 2/3 innings. I don't think that goes up, to be honest. It's already 62. His home runs per 9, I think that goes up probably a lot, to be honest. I'm going to say his home runs per 9 probably goes to 55 or 60. So we're going to put it to 55. Home runs per 9 plus 9. What else do we have? Hits per 9. His last outing, he gave up 2 hits in 8 innings. The one before, he gave up 3 hits in 8 innings. I'm going to put his hits per 9. Ooh, that's already really high, though, 78. Although he's dominating, though. He's been unbelievable. 2.41 ERA, 0.98 whip. That 0.98 whip is wild. That's why his walks per 9 is so high in this game. We're going to give him, just for safekeeping, we're going to balance out those stats. We'll give him hits per 9 plus 2. Walks per 9 plus 1 to even those out at 80. Just for safekeeping. Actually, no, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So let's see what happens when we add those. We've got pitching attributes. So I gave him a plus 12 in stamina. He was at 73, so we're going to go to 85. Home runs per 9, I gave him a plus 9 to balance it at 55. I like landing on 5s and 0s, so that's why I do it this way. Walks per 9, I was moving to 80. Hits per 9, I was moving to 80. That makes him an 85. Okay, so let's say, I think I was being generous there with those. So let's say his hits per 9 doesn't go up, and it stays at 2, and his walks per 9 doesn't go up, and it stays at 78, and it stays at 79. Does he still go 85? Ooh, in that case he goes 84. So this is one of those, Matt's was the same way last week. I had Matt's at 84, he went to 85. This is one of those that's going to be really interesting. You could invest a lot in him right now, and he might go to 85 and be a gold, but it's just as likely that he lands at 84. Last week, I was 100% convinced that Matt's would stay in 80, would go to 84, not 85, and they moved him to 85. So because of that, I'm going to learn from my mistakes, and I'm going to go on the high side and try to move Estrada to an 85. Somebody asked in the chat about Chris Bryant. I haven't gotten to hitters yet, but right now I would say it'll probably be no when I get there because he got a huge upgrade last week. So Estrada, I mean, they're normally not generous with these. Normally, if they take a silver from 81, they normally don't take him up to 85, but they did it twice last week. What do we think here? Let's say, what if they upgrade his hits per 9, but they don't do his walks per 9? Does he still go to 85? No, he's an 84. I'm going to put him at 84 because literally everything I said has to happen for him to get to 85, and if I'm off on even one of them, then he doesn't get to 85. So I'm going to move Estrada to 84, but I think it's very possible he could get to 85, so that's somebody you want to consider investing in. People keep asking me about people in the chat. We'll get to them. If I don't get to somebody and we're done, then we can look at them when I'm finished. Because, like I said, I'm just taking you guys through my process, and I thought people might want to see it. This is something I would normally do off stream, and I wouldn't post a video. But I just thought people might want to see how I go about this, since I'm usually pretty good at it. Okay, so Scott Kazmir, over the last 2 weeks, has gone 32 innings, 2 wins, 24 K, he's gone 17 innings with 24 Ks. That's a big K per 9. Let's look at the Dodgers. Let's look at Scott Kazmir for the Dodgers. What's his K per 9? His K per 9 is only 70. He's got more than 1 K per inning, and his last 2 weeks, he's got 24 Ks in 17 innings. So we're definitely giving Kazmir a K per 9 upgrade. We're going to move him up to 75 in K per 9. That might be a little high. Let's move him to 70, 73, 74 maybe. Kazmir K per 9, we're going to go plus 4 just for safekeeping. Okay, how has his whip been? 212, that's not very good. Like, for the sake of upgrades, that is. So his last start, he went 5 innings, but it was because he was hurt. And and he wasn't pitching well, but he did get the win because his team scored 12. So that start he had 3 runs and 7 hits, 1 walk. That's a lot of hits. Only 1 walk though. What about the one before? 6 shutout innings, 1 hit, 7 strikeouts. Okay. So we're going to go... I know he's traditionally a guy that gives up some homers. His stamina might take a hit, to be honest. 84 is high. I'm going to take his stamina -4. He's gone... Listen to his last... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... Listen to his last 8 starts. 5 innings, 6 innings, 6 innings, 5 2/3, 8 2/3, 5 2/3, 6 2/3, 6 innings. That's not going very deep into ball games. And the starts before that, he went 5, 4, and 4. So I think his stamina needs to go down, to be honest. Whip, somebody asked in the chat what whip is. Whip is walks plus hits divided by innings pitched. That's a measure of... Whip, in all honesty, is the best measure of how effective you are. Because even if you go 50 innings with 1 strikeout, if you can pitch to contact successfully, then your whip is going to be great. So Kazmir, I think, is going to get a stamina decrease. We're going to go -4. I think he's going to get a K per 9 increase +4. I think his hits per 9 is good where it's at. I think his walks per 9 is good where it's at. Did he walk anybody the 2 starts ago? I think actually we're going to give him +5 on his K per 9. He struck out 12 in 6 innings 3 starts ago. And his last start, he had 5 strikeouts in 5 innings, and he had to leave with an injury. But he's okay. He's going to start, I think, tomorrow. So we're going to give him +9 in K, or +5 in K. We're going to give him -4 in stamina. He still gives up some bombs every now and then. I think that's going to be it. I doubt that upgrades him any, to be honest. He's at a 79 right now. We're going to give him -4 in stamina. We're going to give him +5 in K per 9. And we'll check and see if that does anything, and if it doesn't, we might look at his hits. Okay, that gave him a +1. I'm comfortable with that. So that makes him 80 equals +1. So far we've got Fernandez +1, John Lester +2, probably +1, but maybe +2. We've got Zach Davies +4. Kyle Hendricks, I think he should get an upgrade, but I can't find anywhere to upgrade him, so I gave him a no change. Estrada +3, but very possibly +4. Alright, so this next one is one that isn't like on the forefront of my list here, but it's somebody that I really want to look at because I had him written down last week and I was pretty confident in it. And that is Justin Verlander. So last week I gave Verlander just +4 in K per 9 and it only moved him +1. And he didn't get any upgrade. And one thing I like to do is if I guess one and it's not right, I assume that he's going to get one the next week then, because sometimes they're just late. So let's look at Justin Verlander and remember where we left off. Kazmir was the last one we did. Let's search Verlander. Let's go to Fangraphs and search for Verlander. Because we're going to look at his... This is one of the rare ones where I don't just look at the last 2 weeks, and we're going to look at his season totals, because he's been the same overall all year, and he's deserved an upgrade for quite a while. So let's look at his season stats for this year. Okay, so where's he at? For this year, he's got 79 1/3 innings pitched. Let me see here. Where's the standard? Where's his totals? Strikeouts. Okay, so he's got 79 1/3 innings pitched, 85 strikeouts. He's deserved one most of the year, so we're going to see what we got here. Last week I said K per 9 +4. Let's see what he did in the start since then. Justin Verlander. Okay, so in his last 2 starts since I did that, he went... Ooh, he kind of got hit hard. He went 7 innings. That was solid. 7 innings, 8 Ks, 257 ERA. It was 0.86 whip, so he gave up 2. 7 innings, 2 earned, 8 Ks. So he still gets that K upgrade. The start before, 7 1/3, 7 Ks, but he gave up, I think, 4 runs. But his start before that was a 8 inning, 10 Ks, and he didn't give up anything. How's his walks been? let's see. So for the year, Verlander has 23 walks in 79 innings. That's kind of decent. He's got 85 strikeouts. So, okay, so we know we're going to do a strikeout upgrade. So Verlander's an 83. We're going to give him a K per 9 upgrade to 75. Maybe more. Let's move him to 85 strikeouts in 79 innings. That's really good. I'm going to move his K per 9 to 77. Especially because his last 5 starts have been lights out as far as Ks. 8 Ks, 7 Ks, 10, 10, 8, and 9. So we're going to give him a K per 9 upgrade all the way to 77, so that would be plus 8. Okay, what else are we going to give him? Hits per 9, has he been giving up a lot of hits? His last one he gave up, let's see here, it doesn't say. Pitch well, striking out 8 and allowing 2 runs. How many hits though? The one before that, he gave up. Okay, so whoever writes about Verlander on Yahoo doesn't do a very good job because it doesn't mention his hits. How has he done on hits? His whip is 107. That's pretty solid. We're going to give him a hits per 9 upgrade by a lot. We're going to go hits per 9 plus 8. We're going to make him 70 in hits per 9, and we're going to make him 77 in K per 9. His velocity has been good. I know he's throwing hard. We won't give him a velocity upgrade though because those are impossible to predict. Home runs per 9, I'm going to leave that where it's at because he's given up 10 homers in 12 starts. So we're going to leave that where it's at. So we're going to go K per 9 plus 8, hits per 9 plus 8. Where's that put him? And then we'll adjust accordingly and see how that goes. K per 9 plus 8 to 77. Hits per 9 plus 8 to 70. 86. Okay, so let's say he gets slightly lower than those. Let's say he gets hits per 9 plus... Okay, so that was 8. Hits per 9 plus 5. K per 9 plus 5. How does that do? He still goes gold. Okay, what if he gets... So how far can I take these down with him still going gold? Take hits per 9 down one more. He's still gold. We'll take K per 9 down one more. He's still gold. Hits per 9 down one more. Now he's back down. I think there's a really good chance Justin Verlander goes gold. So we're going to call this 85, maybe 86. But I like to go on the lower side of my prediction. I like to predict high and then just make my... Like I adjust these numbers higher than I probably should, and then I just go ahead and assume that I'm a little too high by 1 maybe. Sorry. This lighting is really weird right here. I didn't think it would be once I fixed the brightness, but sorry. Okay, so back to what we were doing. Okay, so we're going to go back to where we were, which was Scott Kazmir. Let me get back to my list. Somebody asked me what website I use. I go to my fantasy baseball league on Yahoo, and I sort by the last 14 days, and I sort the ranking of players, and then I go to Fangraphs to look at their stats, and then I make my own decision on their adjustments. All right, John Lackey. John Lackey never gives up any runs, but these guys at San Diego Studios that make this game, they don't seem to care about ERA, or else Jordan Zimmerman and Lester would have had an upgrade weeks ago. So let's look at John Lackey. John Lackey is an 83. That's probably good, to be honest. But I'll pull it up anyway. So in his last 2 starts, or last 2 weeks, he's gone 17 2/3, 20 Ks. He's got 76 Ks in 75 innings on the year. 70 is probably about right then. His walks per 9 can't ever go up. It's already too high. Hits per 9, he's got a 97 whip. His last 2 starts, he hasn't given up a run, but no one really cares in this. Home runs per 9, maybe. Let's look at Lackey, and let's go with, although his ERA is not great on the year. I think Lackey's probably somebody that gets an upgrade next week if he has one more good start this week. Because I just looked, and one of his good starts that I'm looking at happened today, before we started streaming. So we're going to leave Lackey alone. We're going to call him possible but unlikely regardless. And next week he's going to be on the list. Is there anybody else I had last week that I wasn't right about? Nope, I got everybody else right. Okay. Let's look at who else we got. After Lackey, we have Aaron Sanchez. I think that's a good one. Aaron Sanchez. He plays for the Blue Jays. Let's look at Aaron Sanchez. Wow, okay, so he's got a long way to go. Aaron Sanchez's last outing, he went 8 innings pitched. This was yesterday. 8 innings pitched, 12 Ks. So this one's easy. Aaron Sanchez definitely gets a K per 9 upgrade by a lot. He's got 76 Ks in 80 innings this year. And he's got a 57 K per 9 on this game. So, yeah. I'm going to up his K per 9, honestly, by a lot. That needs to be like mid-60s, almost 70. Well, let's see. What was Lackey? Lackey, I said he was correct. He's got 76 Ks in 75 innings, and he was at 70 K per 9, so let's compare that. So let's look at Aaron Sanchez. He's got 76 Ks in 80 innings, and he's at... So if Lackey was at 70, Sanchez probably needs to be 67, 68. Let's move Sanchez to 67 because we like those nice round numbers, and that would be plus 10. So let's move Sanchez plus 10, which I think might happen next week because they're usually late on upgrades, and he did that 12 strikeout performance yesterday. So we're gonna go K per 9 plus 10 for him. How many walks does he have on the year? Let's look that up. Let's go to Fangraphs and look at Aaron Sanchez. I don't do that many pitchers, by the way. I'm probably gonna finish up pitchers after I go through this first page, and then we'll go to hitters. I've got one hitter, well, like 3 or 4 hitters in mind already. One that's a big deal that you'll want to look out for. That's probably where we'll start. And then after that, I'll just be doing this with everybody. Okay, so for the year, Aaron Sanchez has 26 walks in 80 1/3 innings. His walks per 9 is 43. That's got to go up. 43, come on. Walks per 9 probably goes up to maybe 55. That's being conservative too. I think it could go up to mid-60s, but I don't want to go a little too crazy here. So I'm going to move his walks per 9 up to 55. I think it could go way up though. And his control will go up, but that's so touchy when you try to edit that I'm not going to. Okay, so let's see here. Stamina. He doesn't have any complete games on the year. How have his last few starts been? Can I see his game log? Yeah, okay, so let's see. Stamina 72, that's low. What have his last few starts been? Last start he went 8 innings, before that 6 2/3, before that 6 2/3, 7, 6 2/3, 7, 7, 7. Stamina needs to go up. That's too low. Stamina at 72, we're going to move it to 80. Alright, how many homers has he given up? Let's see what happens here. Homers, not game log. I want to go to season stats. Alright. Homers, he's given up 4 homers in 80 1/3 innings pitched. That's pretty low. Let's do home runs per 9 plus 4. Okay, so where's that put him? So what did I say? I said Ks per 9 plus 10, so 57 up to 67. I said walks per 9 plus 12, so 43 up to 55. I said home runs per 9 plus 4, so 69 to 73, and stamina plus 8 to 80. That makes Aaron Sanchez an 85. That's too much. He's not going up that far. So let me see where we think I might have gone a little crazy. Let's keep stamina lower. Let's move stamina to 76 instead. Walks per 9, we're going to go... So stamina, we're going to go plus 4 instead. Ks per 9, I still think that's right, a 67, but we'll downgrade it to 65 to see what happens. Home runs per 9, they don't like to touch that very often, so let's just leave it at 69. Walks per 9, I still think needs to be 55. Although 4 homers in 80 innings, no, that's going up. Walks per 9, man, I think that could go really high. But just for safekeeping, let's say it only goes up to 50. where does this put him? So we did walks per 9 plus 7 instead. We did Ks per 9. Where was he before? 1 second. Let me find Aaron Sanchez. Aaron Sanchez. So his K per 9 was at 57, and I said plus 10 to 67, so let's say plus 8 to 55. Stamina plus 4, home run per 9 plus 4, because that's got to go up. He's only given up 4 homers all year. I think that might even go up higher. Let's keep it right there. 83, that's reasonable. I'm going to put Aaron Sanchez at 83. But as we just saw, if they really decide to feel a little frisky, he might go way up. I think it could take until next week, though. I think he'd go to like 83 right now, and then if he has another great start, and then another one after that, as long as he doesn't get shelled, I think in 2 or 3 weeks he could be a gold. All right, who else we got? John Gray. He's kind of getting shelled a little bit. He's had really good K numbers, and he's gotten 3 wins, but he's gotten hit pretty hard. Although, let's look at his Ks, because he did put up 12 Ks 3 days ago. His K per 9 is only 63. He's got 61 Ks in 52 innings. That's going up. 74, John Gray. He's a 74. His K per 9 is 63, so that's going to go up by... Let's see. His last outing he got 12. The 2 outings before that he got 4 and 6. I think his K per 9 probably goes up by 4 or 5. We'll put it at 68. Go plus 5 on that. And that's the only thing I'm going to change, because he still gives up a ton of hits. He gives up a ton of runs. He still walks batters. He's not been very good, but he's been really prone to striking people out. So let's see what happens if we just give him a plus 5 in Ks. $75, so he goes up plus 1. That one's small. That'll be a plus 1. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to tweet out the stream real quick so people can see. Okay, what's up, Madman in the chat? Alright, so let me tweet out the stream real quick so people can see that we're doing these. Okay, so that's taken care of, so now we can get back to work. Okay. So who are we looking at? We just finished Aaron Sanchez, we just finished John Gray, was a plus 1. So now we're on to Stephen Wright. Stephen Wright got a big upgrade once before. So let's see about him. He's a knuckleballer, so you can't always upgrade him because he's very iffy since he's a knuckleballer, but he's been good. He's been real good. His previous upgrade was like plus 2 or 3, I think. Troy in chat's talking about my haircut. I didn't get a haircut, man. I just make it look different every day because it's fun. Oh no, hang on. I just closed my window on accident. Alright, we're good. We're good. Okay, so let's see here. We were looking at Stephen Wright. What has he been doing lately? Lately he's got... What is happening? Sorry, my computer's freaking out. Okay, so Stephen Wright, in his last 2 weeks, he has 21 innings, 17 Ks, 3 wins, 171 ERA. His last start was only 5 innings. His stamina is good where it's at. His K per 9 is good. Hits per 9 could afford to go up a little bit. Walks per 9 could go up. Does he walk a lot of people? I feel like he probably should since he throws a knuckleball. How have his walks been this year? Stephen Wright. Let's see here. So this year he's got, let's look at his walks. This year he has 31 walks, or no he doesn't. Yeah he does, he has 31 walks and 74 2/3 innings. That's a lot. So that's not going up. Stephen Wright is good where he's at. No change for him. That's not even going on the possible list. I think he's stuck. What's up JT in the chat? How are you, man? We're just doing roster predictions right now. Okay, so now we are moving on. Corey Kluber. I haven't heard much about Kluber this year. Maybe I should look. I know I just kind of skipped him last week. I didn't think to look. When's the last time Salazar got an upgrade? He's been good. He's good where he's at, honestly. Okay. Haha, that's funny. My brother just texted me and said he wants to trade me for Zach Greinke in our fantasy league. But we just talked about earlier how I think he might go diamond in a couple weeks because he just started heating up, so my brother's going to have to pry him from my hands, to be honest. Okay, so let's see here. Corey Kluber for the last 2 weeks, 20 1/3 innings pitched, 21 Ks. And he's a big-time K per 9 guy. He's got 79 right now. I don't think that's going to go up. Somebody asked in the chat, DG Dillon. Yeah, I'm writing them down on my handy-dandy notebook, and then I'm also going to export. At the end of this, I'm going to just run through them all on my notebook, and at the end of this, I'm going to put I'm going to export this stream to a video on YouTube. Somebody said these aren't permanent, right? I don't know what you mean, man. This is for this Friday, and if I predict one and I'm not right this Friday, I usually will just go ahead and include it next week too, because I think that I should be right, but that I'm just wrong on the timing sometimes. Okay, so anyway. I keep getting distracted because of the chat. I had to get back to this. So we've got Corey Kluber, hits per 9. He's been giving up some hits. He's been giving up runs, to be honest. His hits per 9 is low, though, at 63. What about his last 2 starts as far as hits? Last start, he got rained out, so that sucks. He had only allowed 2 hits through 6 innings. The one before that, he got crushed. He gave up 6 runs in 7 innings, 8 hits. All right, he's not going anywhere. He's good where he's at. If anything, maybe down eventually. Tyler Chatwood. He's a Rocky. He's having a good year. Tyler Chatwood, he's low, 72. Okay, so we're going to go back to what we were doing. My friend MLB The Show Tips tweeted out my stream because we're doing predictions, so if we start getting guys pouring in here, I need everybody in the chat to make them feel welcome and say what's up and let them know what we're doing, because I'm not really able to look at the chat very much right now since I got to look at these other windows to get my predictions going. Alright, Alex Colome would be next. We were on Tyler Chatwood. Tyler Chatwood, nothing too impressive to be honest. 13 Ks in 20 innings, that's not good. 0.97 whip, that could go up a little bit. Let me check his walks. Last week, he went 8 innings. Oh, okay, he's been walking a lot of guys. Tyler Chatwood is going nowhere. Moving on, we've got Jeff Locke. 4 Ks in 22 innings. That's not going anywhere. I don't think he gets an upgrade because he hasn't been that dominant. He's just getting wins. Jacob deGrom has 26 Ks in his last 20 innings, and he's got only 56 in 61 innings on the year, though. So let's look at Jacob deGrom. K per 9 is already higher than it should be, so that's not going anywhere. Hits per 9, his last couple weeks. Let's see. His last one, he gave up 6 hits in 7 innings, or 6 innings. The one before that, he gave up. Let's see here. I'm not sure. He walked 2. Yeah, I don't think deGrom gets an upgrade, to be honest. Kenta Maeda's been dominant, so let's look at him. Let's look at old Kenta. I like Kenta, personally. Alright, people keep asking in the chat about certain guys. My process is just what it is. I'm running through pitchers right now. I'll get to hitters. If you ask about a certain guy and I don't bring him up, then the answer is I probably don't expect it or I didn't look at it. And yeah, when I'm done, I'll look through the chat and I'll scroll up and find certain guys and we'll take a look at guys that I didn't think of, okay? But for now, I'm just going to go the way I normally do so that I don't get distracted and so that we can get a good, solid list down. Last week I did this the exact same way, and I hit 14 out of 21, which is really good. So let's see here. Back to where we were. We were on Kenta. All right, let's look at Kenta Maeda. Kenta Maeda for the last 2 weeks has 11 innings. That's not very much. 8 Ks. Okay, so his Ks on the year are 56 and 63 innings, so that's stuck where it's at, to be honest. Kenta's not going up in Ks. Stamina is already good where it's at. Honestly, it could probably go down, but we're going to assume it doesn't. He doesn't strike anybody out. Let's see. His last start, he gave up 1 run. 2 runs, actually. Let's look at how Kenta's been on the year instead of just the last 2 weeks, because he got an upgrade early because he was just introduced into the game. But he's been really good. So let's look at his stats on the year like we have with everybody else so far. For those of you that are just joining right now and you want to know some of the guys that we've gone over so far, I'll run through the list so far. We're still on starting pitchers. So far we've got Jose Fernandez at a +1. John Lester, we're expecting +1, but we found through playing with the roster editor that it's very easy for him to go up +2, but we're expecting a +1. Zach Davies, we're expecting a +4. Kyle Hendricks of the Chicago Cubs, I'm expecting him that I think he deserves an upgrade, but when we looked at his stats and his attributes in the game, we decided that I can't find anywhere that I think that he can get upgraded, to be honest, but I think he deserves it. Marco Estrada was probably the most interesting one we've done so far. We figured out that he can very easily go +4 to gold, but he can just as easily go +3 to 84. I think he's almost guaranteed to go to at least 84. I would say it's probably about a 60% chance he goes to 84 and about a 40% chance he goes to 85 and becomes a gold. Scott Kazmir, we had going +1 to 80, pitcher for the Dodgers. Justin Verlander, we found out that it's pretty easy for him to go +2 and get to 85, but it's also kind of possible for him to go +3 and get to 86. John Lackey was another one just like Kyle Hendricks, where I decided that I think he deserves an upgrade, but I couldn't find anywhere that I thought he could get upgraded based on his attributes in the game currently and his stats. Aaron Sanchez was one where I think he probably goes +3 or 4 this week to 82 or 83. I think it's possible, very unlikely, like maybe 10% chance, but I think it is possible that he could go gold. Assuming he doesn't, I think if he continues this way for maybe 2 more weeks, or if he continues this way through next week, I think 2 Fridays from now, he could get an upgrade all the way to gold. And the last one we did was John Gray, who we put at +1 to 75 overall for the Rockies. That's what we've done so far. We're going to go through about 5 or 6 more pitchers, and then we're going to move on to hitters. Okay, so Kenta Maeda, I think his hits per 9, I mean, he pitches to contact, and he's still getting guys out. So I think his hits per 9 probably needs to go up by about 7 maybe to 68. So we're going to move Kenta Maeda, he's an 81 right now. We're going to move his hits per 9 +7. And what does that do for him? I think everything else is good where it's at because he pitches to contact. So let's see. We're going to move his hits per 9 +7 to 68. That might be a little too much. That moves him to 83. So he's 83 if that's right. Let's say he moves only 5. We had +7, moved him to 68. Let's say he moves 5 to 66. He's 82. I'm going to say Kenta Maeda probably goes up. Okay, in between there, let's see here. Let's say he goes up +6. That's still 82. I'm going to say Kenta Maeda probably goes up +1 to 82. Okay, who's next? Hisashi Iwakuma is next on this list. He already got a downgrade this year. I think he needs to be absolutely lights out to go back up, so we're going to skip him. Archie Bradley has been pretty solid. 19 Ks in 13 innings, so there's a good opportunity for somebody to get a K per 9 upgrade if he's not already really high. K per 9 is 67 right now. What's his Ks on the year? Sorry guys, that was my work calling. I went ahead and muted it real quick. I'll call him back later. He's got 25 Ks in only 23 innings this year. Not a very big sample size. We're going to leave him right where he's at for now. Ricky Nolasco has been the best Twins pitcher this year, probably. He's got to start today, so I'm not sure what will happen with that. Last 2 weeks he's been good. Season he hasn't been that good. Where's he at right now? Does he have room to grow? Okay, right now Ricky Nolasco is a 76. He does have a little room to grow. 56 hits per 9 is pretty low. hits per 9. Let's say he goes up by like 4 there. That's pretty simple. Hits per 9. Let's say he were to go up by 4. He goes up 1. I think he was 75 before, probably. Or he was 56 before. No, okay, so Nolasco might get a small upgrade, but it won't change his overall, in my opinion. I think that's probably going to wrap us up for starting pitchers. I want to look and see if there are any big names that I haven't been looking at, so let me look at the whole season and see if there's anybody who has been a big name that I haven't checked out. Kershaw, Arrieta, Fernandez. Sale has deserved an upgrade all year. At this point, I'm just convinced they aren't going to give him one, so I'm leaving him alone. Syndergaard, how have his last few starts been? His last start, he gave up... Oh, the 2 starts ago was the one where he got ejected. He's not going anywhere because he hasn't been able to do anything because of that. Cueto, I love Cueto. Last week, he was a guy that I said should get an upgrade, but I couldn't find anywhere to upgrade him. I think the same thing applies this week, especially now that he already got that upgrade. I love Cueto. I hope he becomes a diamond. I'll use him. I want to use him right now, to be honest. He's absolutely hilarious, and I'm a Reds fan. This dude's amazing. But I just don't see anywhere that he could get upgraded. He's already so good, you know? And his fielding is low, and that's going to hold his overall down, the same way it does with Jose Fernandez. So, okay, so let's see here. Drew Pomeranz. I've heard everyone all week ask me if Pomeranz is going to become a gold. And I don't know how he didn't show up on my list just now. But he's pitching today. I think he didn't show up on the list because he has only pitched twice in the last, 2 weeks. So he's pitching today. His start before this one, he went 7 innings, 8 Ks of shutout baseball. Start before that, 5 innings, 9 Ks, but he got raked. He gave up 6 runs in 5 innings. Let's look at Pomeranz. I think he's a Padre. If I can freaking stop on it. Let's look at Drew Pomeranz. Somebody mentioned Hosmer in the chat. I did Hosmer last week. I guessed +2. And I was correct on that one. So there's that. Let's see here. I feel like I looked at somebody earlier that I think I'm not seeing. Tanaka, that's it. I looked at Tanaka earlier and then I didn't write him down. So Tanaka has gone... Oh wait, we were on Pomeranz. We were on Drew Pomeranz. Pomeranz has gone 65 innings, 77 Ks, so that's good where it's at, 75. How have his walks been? Let's look at Drew Pomeranz. Okay, so Drew Pomeranz. Like I said earlier, we've got new people pouring into the chat. I have to use my computer to look at these windows in order to do this, so those of you guys that know what's going on in the chat, make sure everybody feels welcomed and, you know, just talk about these upgrades with them and see if you agree or disagree. So let's see here. On the year, Pomeranz has, let's see. Okay, there we go. Pomeranz has 65 innings, only 4 homers, so that could go up a little bit, but he needs a bigger sample size. Walks per 9 sucks. 31 walks in 65 innings, so that's not going anywhere. Somebody mentioned Alec Colome. That happened last week. I don't think he got like a +3 last week. I don't think he's going anywhere this week. Let's see here. Pomeranz, I think he's stuck. I think he's good right where he's at. Okay, so I think we're going to look at Tanaka, and then we're going to be done with pitchers, and we're going to move on to hitters. So let's look at Masahiro Tanaka. Tanaka has his last few starts, 7 innings, 6 innings, 7 innings, 7 innings. Stamina's good where it's at. K per 9, 59 and 78 innings, that's good. Let's look at his walks per 9 can't go anywhere because it's already too high. Let's look at how many homers he's given up this year. And let's look at his hits per 9 as well. Masahiro Tanaka. Okay, so Tanaka, pretty similar to Kenta Maeda, who we looked at earlier, and we decided he was going to go +1 because of his hits per 9. So let's look at Tanaka. Come on. Why is this taking so long? Alright, so looking at Masahiro Tanaka right now, and let's see here. He's got 6 home runs given up in 78 innings. That could go up a lot. Tanaka's an 88. Tanaka is an 88. His home runs per 9. He's only got 6 home runs given up in 78 innings. I think that probably goes up plus 8 or 9 maybe. Let's move that to 56. We'll go plus 9 on home runs per 9. What's his whip on the year? His whip is at 101. That's pretty good. That means he probably has low walks, which we already knew that. Yeah, he's got only 15 walks. I think his hits per 9 probably goes up a little too, to maybe 77. Let's move his hits per 9 up 3. Okay, so let's see what that does. We're going to go home runs per 9 plus 9. So he was at 47. We're going to go 56. We're going to go hits per 9 plus 3. That moves Tanaka to a 90. I'm going to say Tanaka goes plus 1 or 2. We'll call it, I would say, let's call it plus 1 in case I was a little too high on home runs per 9. So let's call Tanaka an 89, and we'll call that plus 1 for Masahiro Tanaka. I think that's going to be it for pitchers for now. I might look at some other ones later. Somebody mentioned Aaron Nola in the stat. I don't think he's going anywhere. I'll look at relievers when I'm done because those are a little tougher. Okay, so let's look at hitters now. All batters. Season, last 14 days. Okay, so now we're going to look at batters. I know exactly where I want to start, and this is easy, and I'm going to do this every single week until it works. We're going to start with Todd Frazier. So we're going to go to the White Sox. Todd Frazier has deserved an upgrade this whole time, and he's going to get one. It's going to happen eventually. 1 second. Okay, so we're going to start with Todd Frazier, and let's see what he's been doing lately, and let's see what he's done on the year. So we need to get Todd Frazier's Fangraphs page pulled up. We're going to look at him. I know he's got way lower power than he deserves. So for the year, let's look at Todd Frazier. Todd Frazier's splits on Fangraphs. For this year, he's hitting 194 against lefties. Honestly, that could probably go down, but we're going to assume it doesn't just for now. He's hitting 225 against righties. That could go down too. His average is kind of trash. But his power, he's got 15 homers against righties and 4 homers against lefties, and he's 73-84. So let's see here. His power versus righties needs to go up. I think it goes up to probably 85, in my opinion. I think his power versus righties goes up 12 to 85. He's only got 31 at-bats against lefties, but he's seen he's only seen 31 at-bats against lefties, but he's got 4 homers. I could see his power versus lefties going down to about 80, but that's pretty solid. You know, that's a homer like every 7 at-bats against lefties, maybe a little more, probably about every 8 at-bats. I could see that power versus lefties going down to like 82, just for safekeeping. We're going to do that. We're going to go power versus lefties -2. His contacts need to go down. I'm not sure. I think his contacts should go down. Maybe balance them both out at 60. I think that would be pretty reasonable. Let's see what happens if we just do the power before we drop a contact. Oh shit, hang on. So move that down. Power versus righty, let's move that up to 85. Let's move his power versus lefty down to 82. Does that do anything to him? That makes him an 86. Okay, so in theory that will be alright. Let's say, just in case we overestimated, let's say his power versus lefties goes down to 80. Let's say his power versus righties only goes up to 81. What's that do? He still goes gold at 85. So I think Todd Frazier probably goes gold. Let's go back to our original prediction and put him at 85, 82. Let's move his contacts down. Let's go 58 and let's go 60. He's still 85. So let's say if we move his contact down, but let's say I overestimated a little bit on power versus right and I underestimated a little bit on lefties, does he still go gold? He does. Okay, so I think Todd Frazier definitely goes gold, and I think it's definitely by only +1. In my opinion. I think it could be +2 if they don't touch his contact, but I think it's more likely that he goes +1 to 85 with a decrease in contact and a raise in power. That's my estimate. And I think that has to happen at some point. I think that's guaranteed at some point, but that it may not be this week. He's deserved it for a month, so at this point it's going to happen. It's going to be in every single roster predictions. It's just, when is it going to happen? All right, so let's move on from Todd Frazier. Let's look at the guys that I missed last week, because those are usually ones. We've got Logan Morrison, we've got Jonathan VR, and Joe Mauer were ones we missed last week, along with Nelson Cruz and Chris Davis. So let's start with Logan Morrison. So let's look at Lomo. Last week I said Lomo deserved a, let's see here, I said Lomo deserved plus 15 in contact versus lefties and minus 7 in contact versus righties. So let's see about Morrison. He's currently a 69. I don't remember who he plays for, actually. Let's look at Lomo. He is Logan Morrison. I think he's a Marlin, maybe? Or is that where he played before? Nunez is batting .331 with 9 homers. Didn't he already get 2 upgrades, Eduardo Nunez? I'm pretty sure he went from 77 to 78 and then from 78 to 80 or something like that. Oh, Logan Morrison is a Ray. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's look at Lomo. Somebody said he plays for the Rays, but I'm not seeing him. I know he's a first baseman. Okay, there he is. Alright, so Logan Morrison, last week I said plus 15 contact versus something, I don't remember, contact versus lefties, minus 7 contact versus righties. Let's see, what was my reasoning for that? Looks like he, in his splits, let's see here, his splits for the year, he is hitting .292 against lefties, and his contact versus lefty is 50 in this game. He only has 1 homer, so that's not going anywhere. 6 homers versus righties, that's not going anywhere. .246 against righties, that's pretty reasonable where it's at. I would say maybe a little lower. Maybe we'll go 50. We'll go contact versus right minus 2, and we'll go contact versus left plus 13. Let's see what that does for us. Because he's only had 24 at bats against lefties, but he is hitting .292. So let's see what that does for us. We're gonna go contact versus right minus 2. We're gonna go contact versus left plus 13. That moves Lomo to 71 from a 69, so we'll call that plus 2 for Lomo. Another one that I had last week that I didn't get right was Jonathan VR. If I could ever freaking stop on it. Okay, so let's see here. Jonathan VR. Let's pull up his splits. Somebody asked about Matt Harvey. I don't think Matt Harvey gets an upgrade this week, but your question was, is he worth picking up if he keeps up these starts? Yes, but he has to keep up these starts. And he's not particularly cheap, so it's up to you. For those that missed the starting pitchers portion, let me go back and read through these, and then we'll get back to hitters. We have Jose Fernandez at +1 because of a walks per 9 upgrade. We have John Lester. We're expecting +2, but we think it's very easy and possible that he could get to, or excuse me, we're expecting +1 on Lester, and we think that it's completely possible that he goes +2. If he gets a +4 in K per 9 and a +4 in home runs per 9, he goes +2. So if he only gets one of those, he's +1. If he gets +2 in each, he's +1, but he could go +4. That's Lester. That's the most tricky one so far. Trickiest one, excuse me. Zach Davies, we have +4 from 71 to 75. Kyle Hendricks, that was one where we decided he deserves an upgrade, and he probably will get it, but I couldn't figure out where he should get it at, so I wasn't able to figure out what I think he'll go up in. Marco Estrada was, along with Lester, arguably the trickiest one so far, because he's a silver, and I think it's most likely that he goes +3 to 84, still staying a silver, but it's also possible that he goes to 85. I don't think he can get to 86. I doubt he stays below 84. I think he's going to be either 84 or 85. Traditionally, I like to stay on the conservative side and keep it at 84, but last week I did the same thing with Steven Matz, and he went up to 85. I did the same thing with Gregory Blanco, and he went up to 85, so they've set a precedent so far that they move these guys to 85 instead of 84. So Estrada is he's definitely a good gamble because he could get to 85, but I'm expecting 84. Scott Kazmir, we had +1 to 80. Justin Verlander, we're expecting +2 to 85, but it's possible that he gets +3 to 86. John Lackey is in the same boat as Kyle Hendricks. I think it's possible that he gets upgraded. He definitely deserves it, but I couldn't find anywhere that he could get upgraded when I looked at his attributes and his stats. Aaron Sanchez was a very interesting one. I plugged in a very aggressive guess at what I thought his attributes might do, and he went to 85, and I thought that was a little bit too excessive since he's only 79, so we dialed it back a little bit, and we decided Aaron Sanchez should go +4 to 83. I think if he keeps up the starts he's been doing for another week and a half or so, he probably goes gold in 3 weeks maybe. John Gray, we had +1 to 75. Kenta Maeda, we had +1 to 82. Masahiro Tanaka, we had +1 to 89. And the only hitters we've done so far were Todd Frazier +1 to 85. Logan Morrison +2 to 71. So now we're going to get back to hitters. Okay, so let's look back at hitters. Jonathan VR is where we left off. So let's look at Jonathan VR. If anybody agrees or disagrees about anybody I just talked about, go ahead and mention it in the chat, and you guys can discuss it amongst yourselves. I don't really have the ability to look at the chat very often right now because I need my computer and all my open windows to look at the stats that I'm looking at. Okay, VR is hitting 351 against lefties, and his contact is 69. He's hitting 282 against righties. He's not a home run hitter. Those aren't going anywhere. His vision, he has a ton of strikeouts, so that's not going anywhere. Let's see here. Steals, he keeps stealing bases, but that already got an upgrade. I think his VR, what did I write last week? I had VR, contact versus left +5, contact versus right +3. I had speed +3, steal +3, base running aggression +3. He's been caught stealing 7 times, so I don't think his stealing goes up. I'm going to say contact versus left +5, contact versus right +3. So let's go with VR, who is a 79. And then I'm forgetful, so I don't remember what I said. Left 5, right 3. So we're going to go CVL, contact versus left +5, contact versus right +3. So let's adjust that for Jonathan VR and let's see what happens. So we're going to go contact versus right +3 to 60. We're going to go contact versus left +5. I mean, the guy's hitting 351 against lefties. I know 74 is a little high. I honestly don't think it's high enough, but they're not particularly generous with guys that they've already upgraded generally. So let's see what that does. So that moves Jonathan VR from 79 to 80. We're going to go with that. We're going to go +1 for Jonathan VR, which might make him more valuable because people, for 2 reasons. People like to buy silvers in order to complete the Prince Fielder feed reward, and people also like to buy brewers because Ryan Braun was in the captain's store, and that means it's a really cheap collection for anybody who picked him up. Since you can't quick sell him anyway, there's no fear of locking him in. Okay, another one that I looked at last week that didn't get it was Chris Davis. So let's look at that. I think he's an Oakland A. I might be stupid. Yeah, he's an Oakland A. I'm not just going to do gold and diamond players for whoever asked in the chat. I'm going to go through everybody because not everybody can afford to invest in gold and diamond players. They might be able to afford them for their teams, but not everybody can afford to tie up their stubs in guys that cost 10 to 20,000 or more. There will be gold and diamond players, but it's not going to be all gold and diamond players. Okay, so let's see here. Right now, I'm just going over the ones that I missed last week, if I think they're still going to go or not, and then we're going to proceed to new guys. So Chris Davis is hitting 351 versus lefty. Oh, wait, no, excuse me. Sorry. I'm still on Jonathan VR. I didn't change it yet. Let's look at Chris Davis. This is A's Chris Davis, by the way. Let's see here. I know I wanted a power upgrade somewhere for him last week. Last week I wanted Chris Davis to get power versus righties +7, and I wanted everything else to stay the same. Let's see if that still holds true. So against righties this year, Chris Davis has 10 homers, and against lefties he has 4 homers. He's got low contact against both. I think his power versus righty is probably good where it's at, to be honest. We said that Frazier needed to go to 85 for power versus right, or excuse me, 86 for power versus righties, and he's got 15. Chris Davis has 10, and he's at 78, so I'm actually going to leave Chris Davis right where he's at. We're not going to revisit that. I looked at Joe Mauer last week. Let's look at him again. Joe Mauer, I remember I looked at him because he deserves a big power upgrade. He hit 6 in like 2 days. Yeah, I'm going to stay true to that one. I'm not going to look at the stats for this one. I remember exactly what I did last week. I did Joe Mauer +15 in power versus righties, and I'm going to stick with that. We're going to go Joe Mauer plus power versus righties plus 15. And we're going to see what that does. I think it moves him up 2. I don't remember. So this needs to be 55. Because he hit 6 in like a week. I think it moves him up to 80. Oh, it moves him up to 82. Is that what I had last week? Yeah, it moved him up to 82. So that's going to be a plus 3 for Joe Mauer. Is there anybody else last week that didn't get one? Michael Saunders was one. Michael Saunders, I wanted a power versus lefties plus 10. I'm pretty sure he hasn't cooled down at all. So we're going to keep that with him. Michael Saunders, we're going to go power versus lefties plus 10. And see what that does. He's a left fielder, yeah. So Michael Saunders is a 77 right now. We're going to go power versus lefties plus 10 to 57. And that moves him to a 78, which makes him a silver, which would increase his value exponentially because that would put him a silver in the Blue Jays collection, which is important. That matters. So if we go power versus lefties plus 10, that moves him up to a 78, which makes him a plus 1. All right, so that's it for the guys from last week. The only other one was Nelson Cruz, and I've decided since then that I don't think he deserves an upgrade. So let's look now at new people. Carlos Gonzalez, absolutely. Carlos Gonzalez over the last 2 weeks is 100% the best hitter in baseball. Literally, just over the last 14 days, Carlos Gonzalez is hitting .404 with 8 homers, 17 RBIs, and 13 runs. 21 hits, and 8 of them have been homers. That's kind of wild. So let's look at Carlos Gonzalez, because we have to. Let's look at his splits, because his power versus righties is already crazy. Carlos Gonzalez, we need to see his splits for the last two weeks and total. The good thing is he's already got good fielding and good arm strength, so it makes it easy for him to go up. I mentioned this a few times throughout the stream, but I'm not able to look at the chat very often right now, so everybody who's commonly in the stream, we're picking up a lot of viewers right now. Go ahead and make sure everybody feels welcome. Let them know what we're doing. Anybody who enjoys the content that's going on right now, go ahead and drop a follow for me. It's much appreciated. If you're not enjoying it, don't. We just like to get a good group going around here. Anyway, back to what we were doing. Carlos Gonzalez. He's hitting .215 against lefties on the season, .331 against righties. 4 homers against lefties, 9 against righties. But over the last 2 weeks, he's got those 8 homers. He's hitting .404, which is crazy. My goodness. What are his strikeouts like? Strikeouts are high. Vision can't go up. Doesn't steal bases. That's not going anywhere. .331 against righties. Does anybody think that has room to go up, to be honest? I mean, he's already 84 contact versus right, and he's already he's already 91 power versus right. I don't see room for those to go up. His contact versus left could afford to go up a little bit, just because of how good he's been lately. So if we got 87 Carlos Gonzalez, let's go contact versus left. We'll move that up to like 50. I don't know. I don't see anything that can go up, but he's literally the best player in baseball the last 2 weeks. Maybe his contact versus right goes up. His contact versus left has to go up, but not by a whole lot because he's still not good against lefties. Let's say his contact versus left goes up to like 53. We'll go plus 5 on that. Power versus left, I think that's good where it's at, to be honest. Maybe not. Maybe his power versus left goes up a little bit because he's hit a few the last couple weeks. I think he goes up plus maybe 2 power versus lefties. Power versus lefties plus 2. Let's go. We'll just go conservative on his stats versus righties. Let's go contact versus right and power versus right plus 2 each. So we'll go CVR plus 2. We'll go PVR plus 2. Let's see what happens. So we're going to go 5-2. Excuse me, we're going to go 2-5-2-2. Let's see what happens to Cargo. Alright, so we're going to go contact versus right plus 2, contact versus left plus 5. He was at 48, so 53. Power versus right plus 2, power versus left plus 2. That moves Cargo to an 88, so we'll go plus 1 for Cargo. We'll go 88 plus 1. I don't really see this happening, per se, but like I feel like it also has to. Like, you have to upgrade this guy in some way. You got to find somewhere. Okay, somebody mentioned Eduardo Nunez, and I agree. But he's already gotten one, maybe 2. So let's look at it. Eduardo Nunez over the last 2 weeks has 6 homers, but what's he been doing split-wise? Eduardo Nunez. Everybody who's new to the stream, welcome guys. Okay, so let's see here. Eduardo Nunez splits. He's hitting 359 versus lefties on the year, 331 versus righties. So Nunez is currently 79 overall. We're going to go contact versus lefties. That needs to be in the mid-70s. But we'll stay a little more conservative than that because he's only had 39 at-bats. We're going to go, he's also had 5 homers against lefties. So contact versus lefties is going to be plus 14 maybe to 73. Maybe plus 9 to 68. We'll meet in the middle. We'll go 70. We'll go contact versus lefties plus 11. Contact versus righties is already good where it's at. Power versus righties needs to go up slightly. We'll go power versus righties up to maybe 50, 52 perhaps. We'll go power versus righties plus 5 to 50. And then power versus lefties will also move to 50. Or no, power versus righties doesn't need to go up as much, but power versus lefties does. Power versus lefties needs to go up to 53. So that's going to be plus 7. Power versus righties will go plus 5. Maybe plus 5 to 50, so that's good. Alright, so let's adjust him now that we've looked at that. We're going to go with contact versus righties, nowhere. Contact versus lefties, plus 11 to 70. Power versus righties, plus 5 to 50. Power versus lefties, plus 7 to 53. And that moves Nunez to an 82. So Nunez is going to go up by 3, in my opinion, to an 82 overall. Let's go to, somebody asked in the chat about Corey Seager. No, we haven't done Corey Seager yet. He is, let's see here, he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's like 7th or 8th on the list if I don't skip anybody, and I will skip a couple. Jonathan VR is next on here. We already did him, so there's one that skipped. Mark Trumbo. This is the one everybody has been impatient and clamoring for in the chat and wouldn't just wait until it was his turn, but he's here now. So, rejoice. Mark Trumbo, over the last 2 weeks, is an absolute baller. This man is hitting, let's see here, this man is hitting 352 with 7 homers and 17 RBIs over the last 2 weeks. This is a guy who's hit for like, I don't know, probably like a 240 career average. That might even be generous. And he's hitting 299 on the year. Unreal. 299, 20 homers, 48 RBIs. Like, this is an MVP candidate, and this dude has probably never topped 240 in his career. Unbelievable. I guess he just needed to go to the American League East, where everybody rakes. Okay, so let's look at Trumbo's totals on the year, because we know he already got a big upgrade once. But if anybody is deserving of 2 or 3 upgrades in a row, somebody asked about Polanco. No, he's not going back down. He's been arguably the best player in baseball the last 3 or 4 weeks besides Cargo and Trumbo. Alright, so let's see here. Let's look at Trumbo's season-wide stats. Hey, MLB The Show Tips, since you're in my chat right now, give me your opinion on Trumbo. What do you think, man? Because I find that the hardest ones to look at are the guys who already got an upgrade but still indisputably deserve another one. Undisputably, whatever. Okay, so he's hitting he's hitting 299 on the year, and it's only 196 against lefties. And he isn't it in this game. I'm pretty sure he specializes against lefties. So that's kind of wild. I'm pretty sure in this game his usefulness is against lefties, but he's hitting 196 against lefties and 329 against righties. So he's got 13 homers against righties. We decided that 15 deserved 86 power, or 84 power, and we decided that, what was it? Somebody had 13. We decided that it deserved like 75. Trumbo has 13. I say he's got 7 homers against lefties. Contact versus lefties has to go down on Trumbo. So I'm going to put Trumbo's, he's 80 right now. I got to make sure I remember that. I always forget that stuff. Okay, so his contact versus right has to go up. Got to go way up, honestly. His contact versus right needs to be higher than his contact versus left, which is already at 75. We're going to lower his contact versus left to, let's see here. We're going to go contact versus left minus, he's hitting 196. That's kind of terrible. Let's lower his contact versus left to like 68. Maybe lower. Contact versus left needs to go to 67. So -8. Although we're not doing Alex Colomé. Somebody asked in the chat because he got a massive upgrade, I think, last week. Maybe 2 weeks ago. He's an 82 now, so that's pretty high. I haven't done closers yet, though. That'll be later. That's after batters. Trumbo is a career lefty smasher, but he's struggling this year, so we're gonna be a little lighter on him. Actually, we're gonna go -5 contact versus lefties, and contact versus righties, we are gonna go +16, all the way up to an 80 contact versus lefties. Power versus righties, we're gonna go +5, all the way up to a 79. +5. Power versus lefties, we're going to go -6 down to an 87. Let's see what that does for us. He is still striking out like every at bat, so we're going to not mess with his vision. So contact versus righties. Thank you in the chat, people that are liking this. Basically, this is what I do on my own every week, and I just decided to stream it this week. Somebody just asked about Sanchez and Estrada. We mentioned both of them in this upgrade video. Every now and then I keep pausing to recount the guys that we've already done so that new people to the stream can hear them. Contact versus right for Trumbo, we said +16 from 64.80. Contact versus left, we said -5 from 75.70. Power versus right, we said +5 to 79. Power versus left, we said -6 to 87. He was an 80 before, survey says 82. 82, so he's going to be +2. I haven't done relievers, everybody in the chat. After I get through about 4 more hitters, we'll go over everybody that I've done again, since new people keep coming in. When people ask about people in the chat, anybody who remembers what I said, go ahead and just answer them. Alright, so let's move on. Who's next? Everybody is obsessed with Corey Seager, so I'll skip a few and go down to Corey Seager so that people don't burn me at the stake. So let's look at Corey Seager for the year and for the last couple weeks. Alright, so Corey Seager for the last couple weeks is, he's hitting .340 with those 7 bombs and 12 RBIs. We know 5 of those bombs came in 2 days, or 3 days rather. He hit 3 homers on the 3rd. He hit 2 homers on June 5th, both against the Braves. You got to remember that. I think a couple of them were off Julio Teheran, but the rest were off of crappy Braves relievers. Anyway, I personally have said for most of the year that I didn't think Seager could get an upgrade no matter what he did, and so I think that I was wrong. I've said over and over all year to my friends, don't invest in Seager unless you just plan on selling him back Thursday night every week. And I think that because he hit 5 homers in 2 days, I think I was wrong. So let's look at him. Because the only thing that we've seen so far, the only example we've seen of somebody doing what he did this week is Mookie Betts. That's the only precedent we have. We don't have anything else to base it off of. And when Mookie Betts did it, he got a massive upgrade. A complete overreaction, honestly, but still a big upgrade. Something that probably should have come this week, but because it happened in 2 days, they had to. He forced their hand. So Seager's an 84 right now. For the year, he's hitting, let's see here, let's look at his splits. Thank you to everybody that's joining the chat, by the way. I appreciate it. If you guys want to go ahead and drop a follow, it helps me out, makes me feel good. We appreciate it around here. Okay, so anyway, Seager, 283 against lefties, 285 against righties. Seems about right, honestly. 84 versus righties at 285, that sounds right. 74 versus lefties, 283. That sounds about right. Maybe he could go up 1 or 2 in contact versus lefties. Power versus righties has to go up. It's at 70. He's got 10 bombs against righties. Let's see here. We decided that 86 or 80, I think it was 85 or 86 was worthy of 15 bombs. We decided 79 was worthy of 13 bombs. So if you've got 10 I'm going to say 75, maybe 76. Power versus lefties, he's got 4 homers and 60 at-bats. Maybe that goes up. No, that's good where it's at 66. I'm going to go contact versus lefties up 1. I'm going to go power versus righties up 5. So we'll go CVL plus 1. We'll go PVR plus 5. And we'll go no change in contact versus righties. His vision is good where it's at. Fielding, no change. Speed, no change. Power versus lefties is the tough one for me. I think his power versus lefties, I'm pretty sure only one or two of those homers this week was off a lefty. He's only got 4 total on the year against lefties. We're going to go with maybe a +1 in power versus lefties. I think it's good where it's at, but just for safekeeping, we'll go +1. So let's see. Our total analysis was contact versus righties stays the same. Contact versus lefties +1, which I don't think happens, but maybe. Yeah, I haven't used defensive metrics, Larry. Power versus righties will go +5 to 75. Power versus lefties will go +1. I think that's being a little generous, and he's still 84. I know everybody's going to hate me and disagree, but I'm going to stick to my guns. I think they made Corey Seager really well. At the beginning of the year, I thought they completely overrated him. I wish they would have started him at a lower amount. And, yeah, I mean, I think they should have started him lower to begin the year. He should have been 78, 9, 80 maybe, 81. And then when this happened, they could have bumped him up to an 84 or so. But at this point, I mean, the fact is they made him too good. He was too good to start out with. They made a power-hitting shortstop, and then he hit for power. What are you supposed to do, you know? So I think Corey Seager has no change, to be honest. I think he may get an upgrade in some stats, but I don't think it changes his overall. So we're going to say he gets an upgrade in some stats, becomes a better player to use, but I don't think he goes to 85 and becomes a gold. I've said that all along. Those 5 homers in 2 days made me change my mind until I got here and actually looked at it, and I don't know. I think this is one that I may have gotten wrong. I think this is one of those where it has to be your own decision. You have to decide whether to sell him tomorrow night for a very good profit at probably 2,500 or so when everybody is positive he's going to go gold. But if he doesn't, then I think that means he never can. If he doesn't go gold after 5 homers in 2 days this week, I don't think he can go up because he would have to do it again, and I don't think he will. So I hate to say it. I use him. I hope he gets an upgrade in his stats just to be a better player, but I don't think he goes up. I haven't done Machado yet. No, whoever asked in the chat. Evan Longoria, there's one. I'm going to skip Adam Duvall because he got one last week. We're going to go to Evan Longoria. Okay, Longoria over the last 2 weeks. Let's get him pulled up first so we can look at his stats. Wow, he's fallen far. He's not even above my face on the Rays. Longoria, for the last 2 weeks, is hitting .388 with 6 homers and 14 RBIs. We all know how that happened. He hit a bunch in 2 days, just like, or actually a few days in a row. He hit 1, 3 days in a row, and then he hit 2. So this dude's got to get a power upgrade. It's got to be somewhere. Has to. Let's look at Evan Longoria's season splits. Goodness. All right. So Evan Longoria on the season. After this one, we will let's see here. After this one, we're going to look at Nelson Cruz, Joey Votto, and Mookie Betts. But before that, I think, because those are 3 golds, and those are ones that people will want to see. But before that, we're going to go back over all the ones we've done very quickly, because we've been doing this for a while now. But that's fine. I planned on doing this for a while. All right, so Evan Longoria on the year, even with those 5 homers in 4 games, he still only got 2 against lefties. So his power versus righties, that means that's where the other 12 have been, and it's only 63. So we have to give him a power upgrade against righties. I think it comes this week. I would be inclined to say there's about a 35% chance it comes next week instead, because that's what happens whenever they downgrade a guy. They make him absolutely force their hand. They don't like to bring him back up unless they have to. So, but because I think he may have forced their hand, he has definitely forced their hand to do it. I'm just not sure he made them do it this week. So let's see here. Longoria, Power versus righties is 63. He's got 12. That needs to go up a lot. That needs to go up to 74. So we're going to go with Longoria plus 11 power versus righties to 74. Power versus lefties, he's only got 2 and 62 and 55 at bats. That needs to come down. Power versus lefties needs to come down to about 74, maybe. I know we said 74 power versus righties, but he's got that track record against lefties. So we're going to keep his contact where it's at 85. Maybe a little lower, but his power versus lefties needs to come down to 74. Contact versus right needs to go up. It's at 51, and he's hitting 278. He needs to be at 64 for contact versus right, so that's going to be plus 13. His contact versus left, it's good where it's at. I think it could come down, but I don't see a reason to bring it down since he's got a track record of crushing lefties. I think its vision should come down. I don't think they touch it, though. So we're going to stick to what we've got right now. We're going to go with, let's see here. We're going to go with power versus righties, plus 11 to 74. We're going to go with power versus lefties, minus 4 to 74. We're going to go with contact versus righties, plus 13 to 64. We're going to see what happens to Evan Longoria. That would make him an 87. I overdid that. I went a little too crazy there. All right. That's too much. So I think he needs to be an 85 or an 86. So I'm going to readjust here. Let's say his contact versus lefties stays where it's at. I think that's reasonable, but honestly, that should probably come down. We're going to move that. 82 contact versus lefties. So we'll go CVL minus 3. We will go. I'm comfortable with power versus righties at 74, maybe higher. Power versus lefties comes down by more than 4. That goes to 70. We're going to go minus 8. Contact versus righties plus 13. We'll go plus 1 more. No, we'll stay where we're at 64. See what happens there. All right, so we're going to go power versus righties plus 11. That's right. Contact versus righties plus 3. Contact versus lefties minus 3. Power versus lefties minus 8. And that moves into 86. So that's my prediction for Evan Longoria. He's going plus 3 to 86. Might happen next week, though. I would say there's about a 35 to 40% chance it happens next week instead of 2 days from now. I did starting pitchers. So, all right, I said I was going to do a couple more. I'm going to do plenty more hitters, but we're about to go through 3 guys that are already golds. So before we do that, I'm going to recount all the ones we've already done because we picked up about 20 followers since I did, or 20 viewers who I hope are clicking follow because I'd appreciate it. But since we've done pitchers, we've picked up about 20 people. So, all right, let's pull out the handy-dandy notebook. We started with Jose Fernandez. I predicted a plus 1 for him. John Lester, I expect a plus 1, but I think it's very easy and possible that he gets a plus 2. Because we looked at K per 9 and homers per 9. I only upped them by 4 each, and he went plus 2. So if he barely gets any upgrade at all, he still goes plus 1 to 89. If he gets a good size upgrade, he goes plus 2 to 90. Zach Davies, pitcher for the Brewers, I'm expecting him to go plus 4 from 71 to 75. 1 second. I literally haven't taken a drink this entire time. All right, Kyle Hendricks for the Cubs. I decided that I think he deserves an upgrade, but that I couldn't find anywhere to make him go up. His stats were very reasonable with his attributes. Marco Estrada, that's one everybody's been clamoring for all week. He's deserved it for a while. I predicted one last week. I think that he is going to go plus 3 to 84, but when we looked at his stats and when we looked at his attributes and we modified them in here, I got a little too aggressive and it moved him up to like 85 or 86, and I decided that's too much, and I pulled him down and he went to 84. So that tells you it's very possible that he gets to 85, maybe even 86, but for the sake of my own personal investments, I'm going to expect him to be an 84. But he's definitely a good guy to invest in because all it takes is 2 more good starts and he goes 85. If he goes 85 next week, if he doesn't this week. My voice totally just cracked, by the way. That's why I needed the water. Scott Kazmir for the Dodgers. We decided plus 1 because I think he's going to get a stamina decrease and a K per 9 increase. That would make him go from 79 to 80. Justin Verlander, I think it's his time. I think he's needed it for a while. I think he goes plus 2 to an 85. Also pretty possible that he goes to 86, but we found out that he barely needs any upgrade at all to get to 85. So I think he almost definitely gets to 85, maybe 86, but I think you can bank on him going gold at 85. If not this week, it's got to happen eventually. I just think it's this week. If it doesn't happen this week, I'm going to say it next week. I said it last week. I think it'll happen. John Lackey is in the same boat as Kyle Hendricks. We decided that he deserves an upgrade, but that I don't think I could find anywhere where he gets one. So he's in that category of might become better to use in the game, but I just couldn't figure out where. All right, Aaron Sanchez. There's another one people have been asking for. I say +4 to 83. When I played around with his attributes, I got same thing as Estrada. I got really aggressive, and he jumped to like 85 or 86, and I was like, that's way too much because he's starting at 79. So I toned it down a little bit, stopped being so aggressive, and I think he goes +4 to 83. John Gray for the Rockies. I think he goes +1 to 75. He's been striking out a lot of batters. He gets hit hard every time, but he strikes out a lot of guys. Kenta Maeda, I looked at him. He gets a +1 to 82 overall. Masahiro Tanaka, +1 to 89. I think it's possible he doesn't get upgraded, but maybe about a 50 to 60% chance that he does. The hitters. We did Todd Frazier, +1 to a gold at 85. We did Logan Morrison, +2 to a 71. We did Jonathan VR, +1 to an 80. We did Joe Mauer, +3 to an 82, because he needs a big power versus righties upgrade. We did Michael Saunders, +1 to a 78, left fielder for the Blue Jays. We did Carlos Gonzalez. I looked at it, and we struggled on that one for a while. It was really hard to figure out what he could get upgraded in, but he's been the best player in baseball for 2 weeks. And that's very similar to the precedent set by Gregory Polanco last week, where I could barely find anywhere to upgrade him, but he was just so good that he didn't give the developers a choice, and they upgraded him to 75. Or excuse me, they upgraded him to 85. Sorry, I looked down at the chat. Somebody asked about Sanchez and Estrada. I'm not going to break it down heavily like I did before, but Estrada +3 to 84, Sanchez +4 to 83. We left off at Cargo. I decided +1 to 88, but I think it is probably going to stay at 87. Nunez, +3 to 82, Eduardo Nunez. Mark Trumbo, +2 to 82. Corey Seager, 0. Stays at 84, maybe gets an upgrade in some of his stats, but I don't think it changes his overall. Longoria, +3 to 86. All right, moving on. We're going to go through some more hitters and then relievers. Okay, we've been doing this for a while. Oh, by the way, for anybody that wants to know, I just created a YouTube channel today. This will be the first video on there. I'm going to export this stream directly to YouTube. I might chop it up. I probably won't. So, yeah. It'll be there later tonight. Okay. All right. We've got Joey Votto. Joey Votto is close to my own heart. I'm a big Reds fan. I love Joey Votto. I was devastated when he got the downgrade, but he deserved it so much. He doesn't get a hit very often. He just never gets any hits, man. It sucks. But he's heating up now. Last 2 weeks, he's hit 292 with 5 homers, 10 RBIs, and just because he's kind of hilarious and he likes to mess with people, he went ahead and got 3 steals too because it's funny. But as I said earlier, they're really stingy with guys that they've already downgraded. That's a trend that they've shown time and time again all year. Once they downgrade a guy, the guy really has to prove them wrong for them to upgrade him back up. And over the course of the year, Votto's still only at 225. He does have 11 homers now. My first instinct is to say Joey doesn't get an upgrade this week, but that hopefully he continues raking and goes back in the next couple weeks. But I don't know. This one is where I'm going to pause for a second to catch my breath. All right, Joey has 9 homers against lefties, or excuse me, against righties now. I think that was where he got a downgrade before. He did, yeah. He's at 82. That's fine. 82 is where he needs to be. Hitting 179 against lefties. I think that should go down, to be honest, but I pray it doesn't, and I don't think it will, but I think it should. So we're going to assume he doesn't change there. I think I'm going to leave Joey Votto alone for now. I think if he has another week as one of the top 10, 15 players in baseball like he has these past 2 weeks, I think we can look for him to go back up. But for the moment, I just don't see it, which is disappointing. I still start him at first base, though. He's still a monster, especially with his inside edge up to 97 or 99 every single day. Okay, I skipped Adam Duvall. I'm going to skip Mookie Betts. He already got his. He's not going up. Nelson Cruz. Nelson Cruz is one that I said last week, and I'm going to stick with it. Last week, I said Nelson Cruz. I know it was +1, but I don't remember where. It was... Nelson Cruz, I said contact versus righties +7. So let's look at old Nelly Cruz. Maybe he's back on steroids. Who knows? Let's look at the Mariners, and that's where Nelson Cruz should be. Yep, okay. So Nelson Cruz, let's look at his fan graphs, which is how I do this. All right. Did I say anything about Syndergaard? Not yet. Syndergaard will be one at the end. That's funny, Tips. MLB The Show Tips asked the chat, should he wear a collared shirt with buttons and be fresh like me in his roster predictions videos? I mean, you gotta rock the watch too. You gotta get a little thing going on the other hand. You gotta have the whole thing going. Slick the hair back a little bit. I think you can pull it off, Tips. If I can pull it off, you can pull it off. I'm not going to say anything about Cano, Zippy. I don't think he changes. I think he's good where he's at. Nelson Cruz. Let's look at his splits. Nelson Cruz is hitting .275 against lefties. 90 contact might be a little high, but traditionally he crushes lefties, so that's not going anywhere. Contact versus right is 64. He's hitting .303. I said it last week. I'm saying it again. That has to go up. Has to. If not this week... Eventually, you can't hit 300 against righties and stick at 64 contact. That's absurd. Contact versus righties, I said +7 last week. I mean, higher than that. I'm going +11 this week. I'm putting Nelson Cruz at 75 contact because I just think it's absurd. I think his power's fine where it's at. Contact versus left could see a drop. We're going to drop his contact versus left down by 5 to 85. So let's see what that does for old Nelly Cruz. This is funny in the chat. Trace Thompson I will get to when I get to. If he's on my list, he's on my list. If not, like I said at the end, I'm going to scroll up through the chat and see things. I'm going to see people and see if there's anybody I forgot. Contact versus left, -5. But when I look at the chat and try to answer stuff, I get so distracted because ADHD is real. Contact versus righties +11, contact versus lefties -5. He was 97 before. He was 87 before. He's 88 now. I'm going to move him to 88, just like last week. +1 for Nelson Cruz. It's got to happen eventually, unless they take his contact versus left way down. But his contact versus right has to go up. It has to eventually. May not be this week. Who knows? I don't. All right, Nelson Cruz. We're done with that one. Luke Croy already got the upgrade he deserved. Will Myers already got a huge upgrade. Could get another one. Let's see at Will Myers. He's hitting a crazy average over the last few weeks. He got an upgrade, but it was a while ago. Somebody asked about Trout and Donaldson. I'm not worried about Trout. I haven't looked at Donaldson. I don't like to do downgrades, for the record. I don't know if we'll do that today. I don't have as much experience as some of the other guys that do it. I might do the easy downgrades, which is basically just me saying Stanton should get a downgrade. That's the easy one. And then move on, to be honest. Oh, shoot. What did I click? No. Okay. So we got, I don't even remember who I was looking at. Will Myers. That's why I can't get distracted, because like I said, ADHD is real. I have not said anything about Samardzija. I've already skipped starting pitchers. I am of the opinion, I'm very stubborn on this opinion too. I'm not changing this opinion unless he absolutely makes me. I don't think Samardzija can change. I think he's stuck. There are certain guys who are just stuck at 84 or 83 that just can't move. Like, for example, I think Yu Darvish is probably stuck at 88. He could be a monster, and I think he's still stuck. I think, who are some other ones? I think Chris Archer is stuck for a while. I think Chapman is stuck at 92 for a while. I think Samardzija is stuck at 84. For a long time, I thought Verlander was stuck at 83, then I changed my mind. I think Seager is stuck at 84. There are some guys where I don't know why, I just get this feeling that I think guys I think they've just made up their mind, and their minds aren't going to be changed. I think that applies to some guys, and it's literally just a gut feeling. I like to back everything up with data. I don't have any data for that. Can I look at Manny Machado? Maybe later. If he pops, like I said, I just scroll down a list. If he's on the list, when I get to him, I'll get to him. Okay, Will Myers, contact versus left is 76. He's hitting .302. That's fine. He's got 3 homers against left. That's fine at 59. 7 homers against right, 62. That's all right. How many has he hit in the last couple weeks, though? He only has 3 homers in the last couple weeks, but he's hitting for a great average. Contact versus right, 286. That could go up. And the developers are Padres fans. So I'm going to actually factor that in. I'm going to factor in their bias. We're going to take Will Myers, and we're going to go contact versus left. Maybe up a little bit, but contact versus right is the main thing. We're going to go plus, we'll go +3, contact versus right. And we will go maybe a plus, I don't know, man. Contact versus left. I don't think that goes anywhere. I think he's good. We'll just do contact versus right +3 and see if it does anything. I don't expect an upgrade for him, to be honest. I think I changed my mind. Actually, that moves him up. Yep, we're going +1 on Will Myers. Because if it's any higher than that, he still goes up more. So that equals +1 on Will Myers. Okay? Any silvers going to golds? Alright, I'll recap silvers that'll go to golds. Justin Verlander, I think there's about a 20 to 30% chance Marco Estrada goes gold. I think Todd Frazier is like a 90% chance to go gold. That's probably the biggest lock in this whole thing, and has been for a while. I think Longoria goes gold, and that's it, as far as silvers going to gold. Alright, back to where we were. We just finished up Will Myers. Who are we on now? Nolan Arenado. Oh man, that one's tough. Kyle Seager, actually. Just hitting for a good average. Let's see if his contact's low. That could be an easy one. Yeah, I like Kyle Seager. Let's see what his splits are like. Okay. So, over the last 2 weeks, Kyle Seager is hitting 392, only 2 bombs, 13 RBIs. I don't see a power upgrade anywhere. But let's look at his splits versus lefties and righties during this time that he's been raking as far as average. For the season, he's hitting 284. That's solid. His splits are, against lefties, he's terrible. He's hitting 190, but with 4 bombs, that's not going anywhere. Contact could go down, but I don't see it. Contact versus right is 69. He's hitting 338. Seager's got to get a contact versus right upgrade. No change in power because he's already at 64 and he's got 6 homers. But he's an 82. Kyle Seager, I made sure to put a K so I don't get confused. His contact versus right needs to go 338. He's at 69. We're going to make that 80. His contact versus right is going +11. What's that do for him? He was 69. We're going to 80. That moves him up 2 to an 84. So Kyle Seager, I think, goes to an 84. A lot of people may assume that that means that he's a good guy to invest in because they think he could go gold. I disagree. I think that it's possible, but I think it's more likely that he either goes to 83 or 84. And I think 84 is like his top out right there. Okay, goodness gracious. Continuing. Best cards to make profit then? That's up to you, man. I'm just providing the information. Jay Bruce. Alright, I like it. Jay Bruce is on the list. What has he been doing lately? His last 2 weeks, he's hitting 327. Ooh, that's a poise for a contact upgrade. 5 bombs, 12 RBIs. Let's look at Bruce's splits. I mentioned this earlier, but I'll just mention both things. If you're in the Twitch stream right now, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming out. Go ahead and drop a follow for me if you're enjoying it. If you're not, no biggie. The other thing, I created a YouTube channel today. It's the same name, BoilerBoy14. When I'm finished with this, I'm literally just going to copy the video straight to YouTube. That's why we don't have music playing, because I don't want copyright claims. Normally, when we're in here, we play BR, head-to-head. We play with viewers. We do home run derby with viewers. And we play music. And it's a lot of fun. Anyway, self-promotion over. Back to this. Jay Bruce, look at his splits real quick. Also, be sure to stay on the lookout for MLB The Show Tips, his roster predictions video tonight, too. Because if you see a guy that's in both of our videos, there's a good chance he's getting an upgrade. Alright. So, Jay Bruce against lefties is hitting 269. That's at 50. That needs to go up. 81, Bruce. righties, he's hitting 275, 59, and he's got 59. That needs to go up. Contact versus lefties goes up 10 to 60. Contact versus righties, he's hitting 275. He's at 59. That goes up 4 to 63. Power versus righties, he's got 10 bombs. It's at 81. That's fine. Power versus lefties, he's got 3 bombs. It's at 64. That's fine. So we're going with contact versus lefties plus 10, contacts versus righties plus 4. By the way, actually, hang on. Let me do this first before I get off topic. Contact versus lefties plus 10. That moves Bruce to an 82. That's only plus 1 for him, but hey, we'll take it. I want to ask, since I know MLB The Show Tips is in the chat, while you were on vacation last week, I saw something in the roster update for the first time. I've never seen this before. You know Francisco Lindor got an upgrade. Well, part of what upgraded him was he got a plus 10 in durability. And I looked through every player in last week's roster update and a couple roster updates before. Nobody has ever gotten a durability upgrade this entire season besides Lindor last week. He got plus 10 durability. Maybe I should be considering that, or just for the sake of when you look at your results this week, when you look at the roster update after it comes out, be on the lookout for that. All right, back to what we're doing. Okay, yeah, I agree with the chat. Tips, you should wear like a full suit, like a 3-piece suit in your video. Well, everybody got like offended and freaking like mad and stuff because I was wearing a tank in the only video I've done with MLB The Show Tips, and I was just like, I'm a college student and it's a Thursday night in my house, so like, why is this a problem? So now I just wear normal shirts and stuff like this. Stuff that I normally wear when I go out. Okay, back to this. I get sidetracked so easily. ADHD, man. Ian Desmond, already got one. Mike Napoli, I don't see it. Kinsler, already got one. Billy Hamilton, maybe. He sucks, but his contact is really low. What college do I go to? IUPUI in Indianapolis. Okay. I went to Purdue before that, and now I go to IUPUI. Or at least I'm going to this next year. I haven't yet. Okay, Billy Hamilton, over the last 2 weeks, he's hitting 359. That's pretty good for somebody with low contact, as low as it is. Let's see here. Let's look at his splits. Apparently there's another player named Billy Hamilton that played from 1888 to 1901. So you can click on him on Fangraphs too. Maybe we should see how his splits are. I bet he's not nearly as fast. Alright, let's look at Hamilton. He's hitting 275 against lefties. He's hitting 261 against righties. Obviously we don't have to worry about his power at all. We don't even have to go with that. Okay, so he's hitting 275 against lefties, 261 against righties. Over the last 2 weeks, it's 359 total. 275 against lefties at 55, 261 against righties at 48. He's an 80 right now. Hamilton. But when I look at those last 2 weeks, how many of them have been in the last few days? Because they wouldn't have... Oh, nothing today, 3 for 3 yesterday, 0 for 1. Yeah, I think he gets it. Contact versus right is at 48, and he's hitting 261. So we're going to go with contact versus right plus 7, maybe? Maybe plus 5. We'll go plus 5 to 53. Contact versus left, we'll go plus 3 to 58. And that's it for that. We'll see if that raises him. Am I an IUPUI basketball fan? No, I'm a lifelong Purdue fan. That's why I am Boiler Boy. That's where my name came from. I was a Purdue fan before I went to school there. I had opportunity to play college golf, and I decided to go to Purdue for academics instead because I just always wanted to. So I wasn't going to change my mind. Okay, so we got plus 5 there, plus 3. That moves Hamilton up to an 81, so that's a plus 1 for him. I do know a couple people that play basketball at IUPUI, though, for what it's worth. Alright, back to where we were. Somebody mentioned Odubel Herrera. He hasn't popped up for me yet. Let me look at Daddy Leagues' roster update last week. Did Springer get one? I feel like he might have. Do I think Will Myers will go up? We did Will Myers already. We did a contact versus right +3, which moved him to a +1 for 81. Yes, I think Stanton does go gold. I'm not even going to look at his. I don't like to do downgrades. I leave that up to Sauce, to MLB The Show Tips. George Springer, he hasn't gotten one yet, has he? No, he's not. Let's look at Springer. Because next we have Calhoun, Bogarts, Hosmer. I'm skipping all of those. I got Hosmer right last week. I got Bogarts right last week. I'm going to Springer. Last 2 weeks, Springer's hitting .317 with 4 bombs. On the season, he's hitting .279 with 13 bombs. Let's look at him. I appreciate everybody coming out to the stream, by the way. We've averaged about 20 to 25 viewers over the past... I just started streaming Friday. This past Friday, we've averaged 20 to 25 viewers the entire time for all of those days, and we've got 70 right now, so I really appreciate it. It means a lot. Oh, shoot, hang on. Let me pull him up first. So let's pull up Springer's splits. George Springer. I'm sure there should be a contact boost for Springer. So let me look at his. I'm just not sure where yet until I get this pulled up. Let's get Springer written down. Springer is an 86. Okay. Springer is hitting .333 versus lefties on the year, .266 versus righties. .333 is much too high to be only rated 70. So contact versus lefties, we are going to go, I'm going to say +10 to 80, maybe higher, honestly. I'd say +10 to 80 right now, and then if he ever gets another one, maybe 85. We'll go +10 to 80 for contact versus left. Contact versus right, 62, he's at .266. I think that's fine where it's at. He's got 11 bombs against righties, and he's got 73 power. Let's move that up to 78. So power versus righties, we're going to go +5. Power versus lefties, his vision is terrible. Absolutely awful, and it should be. He's got 63 strikeouts. That's absurd. He's got, I mean, unless you're Giancarlo Stanton, then, you know, that's a good week. 63 strikeouts. Power versus lefties, he's got 2 homers, but his power is at 82. Maybe that goes to 80. PVL -2. Let's look and see what that does. Alright. Edit player. We did contact versus lefties +10. What was he at? 70, so that's going to be 80. Contact versus right was fine. Power versus righty, we did +5 to 78. Power versus lefties, we did -2. That moves Springer to an 88. I think he probably... I like to be conservative. I go aggressive on the... Here's my strategy. I go really aggressive on the... when I edit the player there. But then... so if he if I'm really aggressive there and he goes up 2 to 88, then I think the accurate prediction is probably +1. So I would say he likely goes up +1 to 87, but if I'm right with everything I wrote down, then he goes to 88. So that would be +2 in that scenario. All right, Tips, have fun, man. Don't take everybody with you. I think me and Tips, MLB The Show Tips, I think we might work on a video tomorrow night, or maybe either like just spitballing thoughts back and forth about guys, or maybe Friday night we might look at one like reviewing everything that happened and seeing how close we each were. So that could be fun. Be sure to check out his video when he releases it tonight too. Let me just go ahead and have Nightbot do the things that he always does. Alright, I just went ahead and I link my Twitter and the donations page all the time. I do it probably once a stream, to be honest. Okay, so what do we have now? That was the end of the first page. Alright, we're going to review again, because people keep asking about guys that I've already done. Jose Fernandez, we have a +1. From 93 to 94. Lester, we're expecting a +1 to 89, but we think it's really likely that he could get a +2 to 90. Zach Davies, we're expecting a +4 from 71 to 75. Kyle Hendricks, we think he deserves an upgrade, but I couldn't figure out anywhere to give it to him, so no change on him. Marco Estrada, +3 to 84. I think it's possible he gets to 85. Honestly, probably like 60-40. Like I think he gets about a 60% chance he goes 84, maybe about a 40% chance he goes 85. Scott Kazmir, +1 from 79 to 80. Justin Verlander, +2 to 85. I think that's the least he could go, to be honest. I think he could go to 86, but I'd be shocked if he doesn't get to 85. John Lackey, I think he deserves an upgrade, but I'm not sure where it could be, so I can't get an accurate guess on how much he goes up if he does. Aaron Sanchez, +4 to 83. John Gray, +1 to 75. Kenta Maeda, +1 to 82. Tanaka, +1 to 89. Frazier, +1 to 85 for Todd Frazier. These are the hitters now. Logan Morrison, +1 from 69 to 70. +2 from 69 to 71. Jonathan Villar, +1 from 79 to 80. Joe Mauer, +3 from 79 to 82. Michael Saunders, +1 from 77 to 78. Carlos Gonzalez. I think it's unlikely that he gets an upgrade, but he definitely deserves one. I just couldn't figure out where to give it to him, so I just kind of created places to give it to him where I don't necessarily think will happen. So if he gets one, +1 to 88, but I think it's hard for him to get one. Eduardo Nunez, +3 from 79 to 82. Trumbo, +2 from 80 to 82. Corey Seager, he might get a small upgrade in certain stats, but it won't raise his overall, in my opinion. I think he stays at 84. Evan Longoria, +3 from 83 to 86. Nelson Cruz, +1 from 87 to 88. Will Myers, +1 from 80 to 81. Kyle Seager, +2 from 82 to 84. Jay Bruce, +1 from 81 to 82. Billy Hamilton, +1 from 80 to 81. George Springer, +2 from 86 to 88, but I think it's more likely that he probably goes +1 to 87. I'm going to go to the next page and see if anybody pops out at me, and if not, that'll probably be it. One thing I'll have you guys do, everybody go ahead and just start pouring in a bunch of random dudes in the chat that I didn't get to, and I'm not going to write them down or anything, but I will at least examine it and see my opinion. And maybe I will write them down if I decide that I should have looked at them. All right, Wilson Ramos is the first one I see, so let's look at him. Where are you? Wilson Ramos. Wilson Ramos, the last 2 weeks, is hitting .385. He's a national, right? All right, so let's see that one. Wilson Ramos, where are you at, bro? Wilson Ramos is 78 right now. Okay. Wilson Ramos is hitting .385 over the last 2 weeks. Let's look at his splits. For the season, his splits are... Okay, he's already got pretty good numbers on here, to be honest. He's saying, wow, okay, never mind. All right, we're going to look at Wilson Ramos. Wilson Ramos is 78 overall. Thank you for whoever called me out on that one. Ramos. He is hitting .343 against righties, and his contact is 68. So we're going to go with contact versus righties plus 5 to a 73. Maybe more, to be honest. His power doesn't change, in my opinion, but I think both contacts go up by 7. Contact versus righties plus 7, contact versus lefties plus 7. We'll see what that does to him. Let's go with 75 and 77. That moves Wilson Ramos to an 80. So I think Wilson Ramos goes +2. Alright, we'll look at the next one in the chat. Oh man, you guys just loaded this thing. Kenta Maeda, good. He is good, and we're expecting a +1 upgrade for him. Manny Machado is the next one. Where are you at, Machado? Let's look at Manny. Manny Machado is a tough one because he's needed to be changed to a shortstop this entire time. And if he does, he'll instantly go up 1 or 2 overall, I think. So I think they're not willing to adjust Machado's attributes until J.J. Hardy gets back so that they can move him back to third base and not mess everything up. Okay, so Machado. He's already great, so that means this could be a little bit harder to find one for him. Alright, Manny Machado. Hey, he's on my team. Cool. Last 14 days total. Filter. Last 14 days, Machado is 314, 2 homers, 10 RBIs. What are his splits? He's hitting 315 against righties. He's good where he's at 83. He's hitting 286 against lefties. I think he's good where he's at 71. Power versus righties, he's got 14 homers, and he's at 80 power. That could go up. I could see it. I could see his power versus righty going up by 3 or 4 maybe. Power versus lefty, honestly, should probably go down. But if it doesn't, I'm not going to include this one as one of my own predictions. I'm just looking at these for you guys. So let's say he goes up 3 there. What was he before? He's an 97 then. What was he before that? 96. Okay, but what if this happens? What if he goes 83, 57? He's still 96. Okay, what if he goes 83, what was he here? 61? What if he goes down 1? Still 97, down 2, still 97, down 3, still 97. He could go 97 if he gets a power upgrade. If he gets a power versus righties upgrade, Manny Machado could go 97. That's not one of my upgrades, though. I'm pretty much done with the ones I'm going to do. Okay, JD Martinez. Detroit. Okay, let's look at JD Martinez. I'm just scrolling through the chat right now looking at people. Why is that not showing up? Okay, there he is. JD Martinez. I think he's probably good where he's at. He's gotten a few upgrades already. Okay. Where was I at? I was at Martinez. Alright. I said Justin Verlander will go gold. Yes. Okay, let's go back up to where I was at. We're looking at JD Martinez right now. And then let's see if I can answer some questions while I'm here. Somebody said, I think Nolan Arenado deserves an upgrade. I think he deserves an upgrade too, but I can't figure out anywhere to put it. Nola is way off. Could be. I don't necessarily agree. Somebody said Fernandez, we gave him a +1. Somebody said Cueto, I don't think he goes up. I hope he does. I really hope he does. I think it'd be cool if he does. Samardzija, I don't think he goes up. Cargo, I think he probably stays at 87, but I think there's a chance he goes to 88 also. He deserves to go to 88, but it's just hard to find somewhere. I haven't looked at closers for everybody asking about a million of those. Trumbo, we gave a +2. Zimmerman, I haven't looked at. Cueto, I did not say Cueto, I don't think so. Christian Yelich, I think he's stuck at 84. Greinke, I think if he continues the way he is, he goes up in a couple weeks. Jackie Bradley Jr., I don't think he goes anywhere. Verlander, I think goes gold. Jackie, no. Zobrist, I don't think so. Jackie again, I don't think so in either of those. Arenado, I'm not sure. Corey Seager, I think he stays at 84, but I think his attributes might go up a little bit, but not enough to raise him. I'm not looking at whispers right now, by the way, on the chat. Okay, back up to where we were. I just wanted to clear out some of those. JD Martinez. JD Martinez over the last 2 weeks is, let's see here. That's what I like to base this off of. Over the last 2 weeks, he's hitting 241 with 2 homers. He's not going anywhere. Okay, who was next? Nick Castellanos. He already got the big upgrade he deserved. He might get another one, though, but I don't think it's this week. Brandon Belt, I don't think he's going anywhere. He already did. Victor Martinez, I haven't looked at. Victor Martinez is a tough one because his hitting stats are already really good, and his fielding and speed are so low that it's really hard for his overall to go up. Last 14 days, total, filter. Last 14 days, Victor is hitting 347. Not very much power, though. What's his contact at? His contact's already really good. I don't see those going anywhere. Moving on. Cespedes, he's stuck for now. He deserves it. I hope he gets it. I would love for Cespedes to get it. He's amazing in this game. Chris Young, which one? There's 2. Chris B. Young or the pitcher? Let's see here. Samardzija, Andrew Miller. Alright, I'll look at closers. Well, let me finish scrolling through these hitters on here and then I'll look at closers. Ryan Zimmerman. Let's see what he's been doing lately. Zimmerman over the last 2 weeks is 286 with 2 homers, 5 RBIs. What are his splits on the year? Because his contact is low. Ryan Zimmerman. Zimmerman is hitting 268 on the year against righties, 179 against lefties. He could see a drop in his lefties, to be honest. Let's look at Ryan Zimmerman. He's an 82 right now. I'm going to say contact versus left goes down by 8. And contact versus right stays where it's at. His power versus right stays where it's at. I think his power versus left goes down by 4 to a 67. Where does that move him? So we're going to take contact versus left minus 8 and power versus left minus 4. Wait, what was he at? 77? So we're going to go minus 8, so 69. We're going to go minus 4 to 67. I think there's a good chance Zimmerman gets downgraded from an 82 to an 80. Okay, where was I at? Ryan Zimmerman. Where else are we? Cespedes, Chris Young, Lindor, Cespedes, Lester and Bryant, Cespedes, Daniel Murphy, Cano. All right, let me just keep answering all these. Okay, where did I start? Brendan Belt again. Ryan Braun, I think he's stuck for now. He needs to have an amazing week, but he could go up. Lindor, he's not going anywhere. I still don't know which Chris Young you're asking about. Cespedes twice, 3 times I see. I think Cespedes isn't going up. Lester, we predicted a +1, maybe +2. Chris Bryant, I don't think he's going up because he went up by a lot last week, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he went up +3 last week, so he's not going anywhere. Daniel Murphy, I don't think he's going up. Robinson Cano, should you invest in Robinson Cano expecting diamond? I don't think Robinson Cano is going to go diamond, but one thing you can think about here, and this is what I do personally. I'll tell you this. My trick is, most of the guys I invest in, I do it somewhere between Saturday and Tuesday usually. I sell almost all of them on Thursday night. I very rarely hold on to a guy long enough to actually see him get upgraded. Because it doesn't matter if he gets upgraded or not. Like, his price might go way high if he does get upgraded, but it's still going to go up enough to make a profit. I buy guys who are like sure things. Like, for example, I bought Justin Verlander like 20 times last, like, Thursday or something like that, or maybe even Wednesday or Saturday. I don't even remember. I bought a bunch of Justin Verlanders like 20 times for like 375 stubs because I don't even care if he goes up. As long as people think he's going to go up, then on Thursday I can sell him. And it doesn't matter whether I tell you that he's going up or whether Tips tells you. It doesn't matter. There are enough people out there who don't watch these videos or anything like that that make up their own minds. I did it this entire season, and this is the first time I'm showing everybody, and I still made money off of it. There are plenty of people like me that are doing that. Buy guys that you think people are definitely going to see as an upgrade while they're low, and then just sell them when people think they're going to be upgraded. It's such an easy way to make stubs. Okay, Chris Young, the hitter. Who does he play for? I don't remember. Yadier Molina. I kind of hate Yadier Molina. He's my least favorite player in MLB. So, I'll look at it, but like, I'll be honest, my stream knows this. There was one time yesterday, I think, where I didn't do it, but people who watch my stream regularly know this. I kind of hit Yadier Molina every time in the head, like every time I face him. Like every single time. Sometimes I'll hit him in the neck just so I can try to wipe that neck tattoo off. But we'll look at him. Okay, let's look at the last 14 days for Yadier Molina. I saw somebody mention him a while back. Okay, Yadier Molina is hitting 073 for the last 2 weeks. Yes! I thought you meant for an upgrade. I get to downgrade Yadier Molina? Best day ever. That's exciting. Sorry, Yadier Molina's dropping down to a 64. He gets minus 20 in everything and plus 20 in bad decisions for his neck tattoo. let's look at this. What are his splits on the year? Do I think Yordano Ventura's chin rating goes down? That's funny. Yeah, is there a bruised cheekbone rating? Glass jaw rating? Yordano Ventura's secondary position should say Glass Joe from the game Punch-Out. He moonlights as Glass Joe. Or whatever that guy's name was. I think that's what it was. The guy who you faced first in the game and you just punch him in the face once and he falls down. Okay. Yadier Molina is hitting .226 against lefties on the year. He already sucks there. He has no homers against righties and 1 against lefties. He already sucked there. .267 against righties. His contact's 82. Molina needs a contact decrease. Yadier Molina is hitting, let's see here. Yadier Molina is hitting .079, .073, and his last 2 weeks he's 3 for 41. .073. My word. What a scrub. How does he play anymore? What in the world? He's not even that good of a fielder anymore either. I'm completely biased because I freaking hate him, but still. He's definitely waned. People will run on him now. They don't care. You used to not run on him. Now people will test him and make him throw them out, and he still does sometimes, but the fact that people will test him tells you he's lost a little bit. Okay, his contact versus right has to go down. Maybe by a lot, to be honest. Contact versus right, he's still hitting .267. We'll downgrade that to like 70. Contact versus right minus 12. Let's see here. He was at 82. We'll move it to 70. I think Molina goes down 1 to an 83. Tips left to go do his own video, and we lost like 20 people. Oh well. Okay. He's not streaming though, so you're not gonna find anything right now. I need to get back to finding other guys that people asked about. Yelich, I think he's stuck. I mentioned that. Chris Young, the hitter. That's one I kept asking and never got to. Chris Young is a Red Sox player. I know he's an outfielder. Is he center fielder still? Left fielder. I was expecting it to say Chris B. Young, so I didn't see him. Did I do Trumbo plus 20? Or, I just say plus 20. That would be crazy. Trumbo's plus 2. Hosmer, I did Hosmer last week, and I was right. I did plus 2 on Hosmer, and I nailed it. I got almost every attribute perfect for him. That's probably the most, like, right-on one that I've done this year. I took a gold and hit it perfectly. Alright, let's look at Chris Young, because everybody's freaking out on him. Or at least one person's freaking out a bunch of times. I'm not sure. Chris Young, last 14 days, filter. Last 14 days, Chris Young is hitting .385. Let's look at his splits. Chris Young, I'm not sure which one's which. I'll pick one. Fangraphs doesn't give me an initial. I picked the wrong one. Alright, I'm getting it. Hang on. Ryan Braun, no. Sonny Gray, downgrade. I agree. Sonny Gray, downgrade. It's hard for me to find downgrades because the way that I do this, I only do upgrades generally, because the way that I find these people is I sort by the best performances over the last 2 weeks, like cumulative performances over the last 2 weeks, and that helps me figure out who's hot, who are guys that need upgrades because they're hot, and then when I figure out which guys I need to look at, I go to Fangraphs and I look at their splits. Like pitchers, I look at their home runs according to their innings pitched, walks per innings pitched, Ks, things like that, and then hitters, I look at their stats against lefties and righties. Sonny downgrade, I agree. Sonny downgrade. That's actually really clever. Okay, Chris Young, splits. Chris Young is hitting .414 against lefties on the year. Only 29 at bats, but still. This is one that's easy in my opinion. Chris B. Young. Is a 74. Contact versus left. Needs to go up by 13. Contact versus right. He's only had 52 plate appearances. He's hitting 231. I think that's good where it's at. 4 homers against righties, none against lefties. Power versus lefties honestly could go down, but we'll just keep him at contact versus lefty plus 13. Power versus lefties is a little too high though. Watch for that to go down. Let's just add his contact though. So if he just gets a contact boost, he goes to 75 from 74. But if he also gets a power downgrade, he's still at 75. If it's more, it's 74. I would say Chris Young goes +1. Maybe stays at 74 though. Giancarlo Stanton, I'm not going to look at it. I just know he's going down. Sonny Gray. I'm not going to... I don't like to look at just how much a guy will go down, but I can just tell you... I do like to look at just how much guys will go up, but I can tell you downgrades off the dome would be Sonny Gray, Giancarlo Stanton, Ryan Zimmerman, Yadier Molina, Jason Hayward. Okay, I'll look at Hayward. Aledmus Diaz. Yeah, he could go up. I think I'm caught up on all the guys people were asking for. Somebody said Greinke. That could be a couple weeks from now. Trumbo, yeah, +2. I think I'm going to look at Jason Hayward, and then I'm probably going to be done. Oh, relievers. Relievers. Stay tuned. Let's look at Jason Hayward. That's the last one we're looking at for hitters. Then we're looking at relievers. Jason Hayward. Let's look at his last 2 weeks to see if he deserves one or not. Jason Hayward, last 14 days. Filter. Last 14 days, Hayward is hitting 222. I don't think he gets one. Alright, we're moving on. We're moving on to relievers. Sorry if I skipped your guy. I'm going to recap everybody we've done, and then we're moving on to relievers. Because we've been doing this for like, shoot, I don't know, probably over 2 hours to be honest. Maybe over 3 hours. I'm not sure. I just said we're going to start relievers for everybody asking about chatting. Starters, Jose Fernandez, +1. John Lester, +1, maybe 2. Zach Davies, +4. Kyle Hendricks, I think he deserves one. Couldn't figure out where to give it to him. No change. Marco Estrada, +3 to an 84. Maybe +4 to a gold 85. Scott Kazmir, +1 to an 80. Justin Verlander, +2 to an 85. Maybe +3 to an 86. John Lackey, I think he deserves one. Couldn't figure out where to give it. I say no change, but I hope he gets one because he deserves it. Aaron Sanchez, +4 to an 83. John Gray, +1 to a 75. Kenta Maeda, +1 to an 82. Masahiro Tanaka, +1 to an 89. Hitters, Todd Frazier, +1 to a gold 85. Logan Morrison, +2 to a 71. Jonathan VR, +1 to an 80. Joe Mauer, +3 to an 82. Michael Saunders, +1 to a 78. Carlos Gonzalez, I think he probably stays in 87, but he deserves an upgrade, so if they can find somewhere to upgrade him, +1 to an 88. Eduardo Nunez, +3 to an 82. Maybe more, but probably not. Mark Trumbo, +2 to an 82. Corey Seager. I think he gets a boost into some stats, but it's not. But when I put it into the little calculator, it's not enough to make his rating go up. I say +0, but I think it's just as likely that I'm wrong and he goes +1 to an 85 to become a gold. But in my personal opinion, if I was sitting on 30 Corey Seagers, I would probably sell like 25 of them tomorrow night. Evan Longoria, +3 to an 86. Nelson Cruz, +1 to an 88. Will Myers, +1 to an 81. Kyle Seager, +2 to an 84. Jay Bruce, +1 to an 82. Billy Hamilton, +1 to an 81. George Springer, +2 to an 88. Wilson Ramos, +2 to an 80. Ryan Zimmerman, -2 to an 80. Yadier Molina, -1 to an 83. Chris B. Young, the left fielder for the Red Sox, +1 to a 75, maybe stays at 74. We're going to look at relievers now, because I haven't looked at any. Okay. Anyway. Sorry, somebody mentioned something in the chat that's kind of important, so. Alright. I think, Corey Seager's the tough one. I think that he, in my opinion, I think he stays at 84. But you could see him get upgraded. I hope he gets upgraded. I hope he does, because I start him against righties. Okay, so let's see here. Let's look at all players. Let's look at relief pitchers, last 14 days. Filter. I also got to click where it shows my team, too, because I have some of them. Filter. And let's look at their current rankings for the last 14 days. All right. Zach Britton has been lights out lately. Let's look at him. Verlander, we said +2. Okay. Zach Britton. Last 2 weeks, he has 6 saves and 7 1/3 innings pitched, 7 Ks, 0 ERA, 0.68 WHIP. Zach Britton's hits per 9 needs to go up. So what's he at right now? He is at an 87. I think Zach Britton gets a hits per 9 increase by 8. I think he gets I think he's good where he's at with his K per 9. I think he's good with walks per 9, good with home runs per 9. What is he? Has he blown any saves this year? Let me see here. Entering to protect a 3-run lead, Zach Britton needed just 8 pitches to induce 3 grounders. Does he have any blown saves? He has gotten 16 straight save opportunities. I never have upgraded pitching clutch ever in one of these, but like if you're going to give a closer a clutch stat, if you convert your first 16 save opportunities, isn't that kind of what clutch is? Right? So we're going to upgrade his clutch also, which I've never done, so maybe don't put that much emphasis on this one. Let's just give him the hits per 9 upgrade first to 84. We'll see what that does. So that would upgrade him by 1 to an 88. So that's the prediction I would stick with, +1 to an 88. But let's say they give him like +10 in clutch. Then he's an 89. I think they should. I think if they don't, then what the hell is the reason to have clutch as a stat? So that moves him up to 89, which is a +2. Anything on Piscotty? I didn't put anything. No. David Robertson, we're doing relievers right now. Jose Abreu, not sure. Okie doke. Who else we got? Marco Estrada. Nah, he's not. He's a starter. He's listed on Yahoo as a reliever and a starter. Michael Feliz. He's a reliever, but he's not a closer. But he has had a good year so far. For the Astros. Kind of. Oh, he's got a buttload of Ks. Where you at? 74 K per 9. Wow, they kind of already had it right. That could go up a little bit. Piscotty, I haven't looked, man. Let's see here. I will look at reliever. We're looking at relievers right now. You just saw what I did with the hitters. When I'm done, I scroll back up and look for guys that people have talked about. We will see, man. Okay. Let's look at the whip from these relievers. Actually, we'll go with Ks over the last 14 days from relievers. Dylan Betances. Problem with Betances is he's already perfect. Like, seriously, what could you possibly upgrade? They even gave him a stamina upgrade. Like, he's already perfect. The only reason he's not higher is because his fielding sucks. Watch this. Just for general purposes. He already went up 1. Didn't even touch his pitching attributes. I don't remember what that was at before. Oops. Shoot. I think it was 18. Is that right? Nope. Was it 25? I think it was 25. Yep, it was 25. Okay. Carlos Correa? Nah. Okay. People are going absolutely crazy because of Andrew Miller. He's on the list. I would have gotten to him if you're... Actually, he was next. So, patience. Patience. Andrew Miller. I don't care about the forecast. Just let me click this button. Last 2 weeks, Andrew Miller, 7 innings pitched, 13 Ks, 1 save, 1 win, 129 ERA, 071. Okay, let's look at Andrew Miller. He's already perfect. What do you want me to do? His fielding is 6. It's impossible for this man to go up. His fielding is 6. Unless he hasn't walked anybody, which is possible. Let me look. His clutch is already as high as it could possibly go. He's not a closer, so it's not going higher. His fielding is 6, which makes it really hard for him to go up anywhere. Let's look at this. Okay, why does it always do this when I look at this stupid page? Stop being dumb. Alright, there we go. Okay, so he's got... There's walks. He's got 25 2/3 innings pitched, only 3 walks. That has potential. Home runs, he's given up 2 home runs in 25 innings pitched. There is potential for those. There is potential for those. What website do I use? I go to Yahoo, my fantasy baseball league, and I go to the player pool, and I just sort by the last 14 days to figure out who's hot. And then I use that list of guys who's hot, and I go to Fangraphs, and I look at their stats against lefties, against righties. I look at their walks, their home runs given up, their Ks, things like that. Pomeranz, we already looked at. We decided he wasn't going anywhere. Will Myers, we gave a +1. Andrew Miller, I think we'll look at it. We'll look and see if I give him a small boost in walks per 9. Does anything happen, or do I have to also give him a boost in home runs per 9? So let's give him a walks per 9 boost. Let's move it to 75. That moves him to 93. We're going +1. Well, hang on. Let's say, just in case, let's say that doesn't go anywhere. Let's say this goes up to 80. He still goes to 93. Yep, Andrew Miller, 93. If I do them both, 94. I'm saying 93 for Andrew Miller. Let's move this +3. Let's move this +3. 93. Yep, Andrew Miller +1. Stop asking for Robertson and Chapman. I will get there. Walks per 9, +3. Home runs per 9, +3 equals 93 equals +1. John Mark Gomez, no one cares about saves when it comes to ratings. Kyle Seager, not gold. I don't think so, personally. I think Kyle Seager goes to 84. Well, I shouldn't be as adamant as I am then. He could go to gold, because I have him at 84, and that's only 1 more away. So, we'll see. Chapman, nothing you can upgrade. I mean, I'll give it a gander, but I don't see anything. I think Chapman is one of those guys who is eternally stuck. He is stuck at 92 forever. I hope he goes up because I have him. Am I the guy who updates rosters? Hell no. I would make so much money. I wish. That'd be kind of dope. Alright. Chapman, 13 innings pitched, 3 walks. That's a lot. 13 innings pitched, no homers, but he's only pitched 13 innings. The dude has 13 innings pitched on the whole season. Why are we even looking at this? No, he's not going anywhere. David Robertson. Okay. People are freaking out about David Robertson. He's not even on my list. Not even on the first page. Let me look at him. Didn't he already get a downgrade? Yeah, Robertson's terrible, isn't he? No, I don't make these updates for people to download them. I'm predicting what's going to happen on Friday. Oh, people want to look at Robertson for a downgrade. Okay. 22 innings pitched, 11 walks. Jesus. That's a little high, right? Robertson. He's an 88. Walks per 9. Minus 9. 0 homers given up, so that's could go up, honestly. Home runs per 9. Plus 5. Opponent's batting average, oh, I can't see it. What's his whip? I'm not sure. ERA 3.22. I don't know. I think Robertson's probably good where he's at. Maybe a small hits per 9 downgrade. Five, 9, 87, -1 for David Robertson. Okay, I'm only going to do a few more closers. Dae-Ho Lee to silver. See how right now it's 63. Okay, Dae-Ho Lee. Let me see him. This will honestly probably be the last one. Maybe I'll look at some more relievers. Did Sam Dyson already get one yet? I know Michael Feliz did. I don't like to do relievers, to be honest. I didn't do any relievers last week. Pedro Strop. Alright, hang on. Dae-Ho Lee. Dae-Ho Lee is hitting 326 against righties in very limited at-bats. Okay, so he's 63 overall. Extras. 863, Dae-Ho Lee. Contact versus righties goes up by 5. Maybe more, honestly. Contact versus righties goes up by 10. Contact versus lefties stays where it's at. Power versus righties goes up. I think both powers go to 60. PBR plus 8, PBL plus 1. This will be the last hitter I look at. Then I'm going to look at Pedro Strop, and then we're probably done. You'll have to look at MLB The Show Tips' video for more closers. He's better at closers than I am. Or at least, I don't know. I don't know that for sure, but I just never look at them. Contact versus lefty stays. Power versus righty to 60. This to 60. Dae-Ho Lee to 67. I don't know. Probably. Maybe he goes to 70 or to 70 and becomes a common, or 69 and becomes a common. Maybe. I'm gonna say 67 to 70-ish. So plus 4 to 7, somewhere in there. Okay, one more. I mean, I can make this roster available to download. Is that something I should do? Do you guys want me to, like, upload this roster somehow? I'm a Reds fan, for somebody that just asked. Okay, who was the last one I was supposed to look at? Pedro Strop. I don't know how to make it downloadable, to be honest. I'm sure I can figure it out, though. Pedro Strop. This is going to be the last one, I think. I can take a look at Piscotty because somebody's freaking out about him. And then that really is the last one. Pedro Strop for the last 14 days has been pretty good. I mean, look at his season-long stuff. Remember, I'm posting this video, once we're done, it might take all night to render and be ready, to be honest, but I'm posting this video to my YouTube. It'll be the first video ever posted on my YouTube. I just made it before we did this. You'll be able to watch all this again, and then yeah. Follow the Twitch stream if you're enjoying yourself. We're going to do this every single week, by the way. Exactly like this. I'm going to go through everything. We also play some BR. We play some head-to-head. We do head-to-head with followers. We do a home run derby with followers, like more than one every night. And what the prize is, if you win a home run derby, then the next time I play a head-to-head game against a follower, you like jump to the front of the line because that's your prize. You won a home run derby. So now the next time I play somebody in the chat, you're up top. I'm going to go ahead and link Twitter and donations in the chat because I just do that every few hours. 1 second, guys. Okay. Sorry for the self-promotion. I'll get back to what I was doing. Excel file. That would take so long. I'm not putting all this in an Excel file. What was I doing? Pedro Strop? Sorry, guys. I know somebody was clamoring for him. I was doing stuff. Look it up yourself. Calm down. Okay. Standard. Pedro Strop. 21 2/3 innings, 8 walks. That's not going up. 2 homers. Probably won't go up. What's his whip on the year? His whip is 102. That's not terrible. I don't see anything happening to Strop. I'm going to leave him where he's at. He's only pitched 4 innings in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, we're going to leave Strop where he's at. So I'm going to go over it one more time, and then we're probably going to cut this. And what I'm going to do is after I go over all these, I'm going to end the stream because I'm going to... I want this video to be all roster predictions so I can copy it straight to YouTube. So after this, after I read these off, I'm going to end the stream, and then I'm going to immediately start the stream back up again, and we're going to do the things we normally do. Like BR and head-to-head and stuff. Somebody said they couldn't find the YouTube channels. Hang on. 1 second, guys. Give me 1 moment. I want to do something really fast. I want to find the link real quick. It should just be, hang on a second. I haven't posted a video, so that could be why. I know I made it earlier. Yeah, you're right. It's not showing up. I wonder why. Alright, tell me if this works or not. Somebody click that. Does that take you to a page where you can hit subscribe? I'm sure it'll look different since it's you guys looking at it instead of me. Does that work? Okay, let me read through these like I said I was going to. Starting pitchers. Jose Fernandez, +1 to a 94. John Lester, +1 to an 89, maybe +2 to a 90. Zach Davies, +4 to a 75. Alright, you guys said that link is working to my YouTube. Awesome. Anybody... I hope you guys click subscribe. I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow the Twitch stream. That would be so appreciated. And I also linked my Twitter in the chat a little bit ago. I talk about MLB a lot on there. Things like that, you know. Anyway, Kyle Hendricks. We don't expect him to get changed. Like, we don't expect an upgrade, but he definitely deserves it. Marco Estrada. We're expecting a +3 to 84, but I think it's very possible he gets a +4 to 85. Scott Kazmir, +1 to an 80. Justin Verlander, +2 to an 85, maybe 86. I don't think 84, but it is possible. John Lackey deserves an upgrade, but I don't see where he gets it, so I went with no change for this week. Aaron Sanchez, +4 to an 83. John Gray, +1 to a 75. Kenta Maeda, +1 to an 82. Tanaka, +1 to an 89. while I'm thinking about it, the downgrades we thought of that I didn't write down were Stanton just getting downgraded, I don't know by how much. Sonny Gray getting downgraded, not sure by how much. Yadier Molina, I said -2. Ryan Zimmerman, or -1. Ryan Zimmerman, I said -2. David Robertson, I said -1. Anyway, hitters. Todd Frazier, +1 to an 85 gold. Logan Morrison, +2 to a 71 bronze. He is a common right now. Jonathan VR, +1 to an 80. My back hurts. Joe Mauer, +3 to an 82. Michael Saunders, +1 to a 78. Carlos Gonzalez. I expect him to stay the same at 87 because I couldn't figure out where to upgrade him, but he absolutely deserves to go +1 to an 88. So if they can figure out somewhere to upgrade him, look for that. Eduardo Nunez, +3 to an 82. Mark Trumbo, +2 to an 82. Kyle Seager. Gosh, I keep doing that. Corey Seager, excuse me. I don't think he gets an upgrade. I think he might get an upgrade in some of his stats, but I don't think it's enough to push him from 84 to 85. I think he stays at 84. But I could absolutely be wrong. He's so freaking hard to predict. He's very difficult to predict. Evan Longoria, +3 to an 86. Nelson Cruz, +1 to an 88. Will Myers, +1 to an 81. Kyle Seager, +2 to an 84. Jay Bruce, +1 to an 82. Hamilton, +1 to an 81. That's Billy Hamilton, sorry. George Springer, +2 to an 88. I think it's more likely he goes +1 to an 87. Wilson Ramos, +2 to an 80. Chris B. Young, the left fielder for the Red Sox, +1 to a 75. Zach Britton, +2 to an 89. Andrew Miller, +1 to a 93. Daeho Lee, +4 to 7, probably, somewhere between 67 and 70. If there's somebody I left off that I didn't say, I probably looked at them and decided they didn't need an upgrade or a downgrade. If there's somebody that is like for sure a downgrade that I left off, they probably are going to get a downgrade then, and I just don't like looking at downgrades because I don't have stats to look at as easily. So, yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming out. We'll be doing this every week, probably. I wanted to do it Monday this week, to be honest, and then I thought I would do it yesterday, and I didn't do it either day, so I just did it today. I'd like to do it Monday or Tuesday every week. Hopefully Tuesday would be perfect. It'll be just like this. It'll take forever, just like this one did. And yeah, the other things we do on the channel, like I said, is we play BR, Dynasty head-to-head. We play First Followers. We do home run derbies. I'm playing in a tournament this week, and I think in the future, once we get a better following, like we get more people in the chat regularly, I'll probably make a tournament. So that's something you definitely want to follow my Twitch channel so that you know when I'm streaming, you can find out about that. So yeah, go ahead and follow Twitch. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to end the stream, and then in like 20 seconds, I'm going to start the stream up again. And I'm going to tell you in the chat to go ahead and refresh, and we'll just be live with our normal activities like VR and head-to-head and stuff. Yeah, you can also find this video on YouTube, which will be BoilerBoy14. That's also the name of my Twitch channel for those watching on YouTube, and I will be sure to link my Twitter and Twitch in the description of the YouTube video. Thank you very much. We'll see you hopefully Friday or Saturday to look at how we did. Awesome.